Zoning Board of Appeals. Please silence all cell phones and note that this meeting is being taped by FCTV. If there's any private party recording this hearing, step up to the podium to request permission. And I will introduce the board and the staff. On my far right is Mark Finneran, a voting member. To my closest right is Frank Duffy, our clerk. My name is Suzanne Murphy, I'm chair. To my left is James Morse, vice chair. And then we have our two associates, Tony Bertucci and Nick Haney. Then we have Noreen Stockman, the zoning administrator, and Ashley DeMello, office assistant. The Zoning Board of Appeals is charged with applying the state zoning statutes as well as the town zoning bylaws and reviewing and voting on applications. All decisions are made through the public hearing process. Our goal is to hear testimony from the applicants and the public and to allow a full and fair discussion of the project prior to closing the hearing process and reaching a decision. Number one, to begin each hearing, the clerk will read the public announcement for the hearing and read pertinent information from the file. Two, the applicant or the applicant's representative will then have 15 minutes to make a presentation, but time may be extended by the vote of the board. Three, the board will then question the applicant. Four, the public will then be invited to comment. Comment should be limited to 2 minutes and be strictly related to the proposal. All members of the public wishing to speak should wait to be recognized by the chair, come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, speak into the mic. It will not amplify your voice, but it will record audio for the FCTV viewers. And before we take the first application, if there's anybody that wants to make a public comment about anything that's not on our agenda, you're welcome to come up and tell us what you think. Anybody? We're all set. So let's move on to the night at hand. We have our first hearing is 01226 101 Striper.
Okay, this is application number 12 of the year 2026. Paul Kurker and Lynn O'Brien have applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to section 240.11.3A4 of the Falmouth zoning bylaw to expand the first floor and construct a second floor addition, thereby exceeding lot coverage, 20% lot coverage by structure. The property is located at 101 Striper Lane in East Falmouth. So some of the details for the property. It's in an RB zoning district. It's located in the Great Pond Coastal Pond Overlay District. It's also located in a search and rescue overlay district and a nitrogen-sensitive area. The flood zone is designated X. The existing structure is a 3-bedroom, single-family dwelling, 1,957 square feet. The proposal is to increase it to 2,106 square feet. The lot size is 10,000 square feet. The current requirement is 40,000 square feet. The lot frontage is 100, which conforms to zoning. Striper Lane is a private right-of-way at this particular location. The existing lot coverage by structure is 19.57%. It will be increased to 21.06%, and they need this, because the limit is 20, they need the special permit to exceed 20. Lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving is 20.35%, will be increased to 27.22%. The limit is 40, so they're within the limits of the zoning bylaw. The setbacks on the property, it currently conforms to zoning in terms of setbacks, and there'll be no new nonconformities in terms of setbacks. Engineering has given us a referral to contain stormwater runoff on the property and to include soil erosion and sediment control practices in the permit. The Board of Health has advised that there's a cesspool in the property which has to be protected during construction, and they should take care to not damage it. Conservation has no comment. The Water Department recommends an upgrade to 1-inch PE. Building, no comment. Fire, no comment. There are no letters in support or opposition.
Take it away.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name is Kevin Clower, and I'm before you this evening representing Paul Kurker and Lynn O'Brien, the owners of 101 Striper Lane, both of whom are here with us this evening. As Mr. Duffy noted, they're seeking permission to modify the existing dwelling, which will result in lot coverage by structure of 21.06%. So 101 Striper is located in Great Harbors, which, as this board knows, is a dense residential neighborhood. This property is a lot of 10,000 square feet, which is very typical for the area. In fact, most lots are of that size. It's located in the residential B zoning district, and it is not in a flood zone. Presently, there's a 3-bedroom, 1-story, single-family dwelling with a footprint of 1,957 square feet. It is conforming to setback and lot coverage requirements. The applicants have owned this property for the last 12 years, but have had homes here in Falmouth for most of their lives. They're in the process of making this their full-time residence, and they require some additional space. So as such, they proposed some modifications to the building. The applicant's proposal does not create any new dimensional nonconformities and exceeds all setback requirements. The front yard setback will remain over 25 feet. Side yard to the east will be 17.5. Side yard to the west will be almost 18. And the rear yard setback is 25. The lot coverage by structure will increase to 21.03%, which is allowable by special permit. Lot coverage by structures, paving, and parking will be 27.22, which is well below the 40% allowed by right. And the proposed height of the ridge height will be 29 feet 9 1/8 inch. Due to the proposed lot coverage by structure, this does require a special permit pursuant to 240-11.3A4. Under that section, this board may allow lot coverage in excess of 20% by special permit, and you're asked to consider the size and height of the structure in relation to the neighborhood, the effects of shadow, impacts of views and vistas on from public ways, and the effect of nitrogen on coastal embayments. In this case, there is no impact of views and vistas from public ways. Striper Lane is a private way and does not affect any view sheds. As to size and fit with the neighborhood, we did submit a lot comparison worksheet looking at 35 properties within a 300-foot radius. While larger than some of the nearby homes in terms of gross floor area, it's very close to the average in terms of footprint, and it is in line with regard to the neighborhood. There's no change in the effect of nitrogen, and if anything, there's an improvement. The existing 3-bedroom home is served by a cesspool, which is going to be emptied and removed, and there's a new Title V system being installed. There's no change in the number of bedrooms, which will remain at 3, so that's, I think, a pretty dramatic improvement there. Beyond that, this meets the requirements of 240-12.1E. The site is adequate and suitable for the proposed use. It remains a single-family dwelling, same as at present. There's no increase in the number of bedrooms, so there's no change to wastewater. There's no impact on traffic flow and safety. It's the same use as at present. Proposal improves the appearance and functionality of the house and won't adversely impact the views and vistas from public ways, and there are adequate utilities servicing the property. The threshold question for any special permit is the proposal substantially more detrimental than what exists? In this case, the proposal represents a significant improvement over the existing conditions for the applicants. There's no new dimensional nonconformities, and no adverse effects overbalance the benefits that we've outlined. In short, there's nothing about this proposal that is substantially more detrimental than the existing structure. I believe this meets all the requirements of 240-11.3A4 and 240-12.1E. And for those reasons, I would ask that the board grant the special permit, but I would be happy to address any questions that you may have at this time.
You got any questions?
No, actually, I think it's all quite very nice, and I think the finished product is kind of attractive, and they even went a bit out of their way. No, I don't see any downsides to any of this.
I have a couple of questions. I just want to clarify a couple of points, Mr. Clower.
Of course.
I saw your worksheet on the lot coverage by structure, but I didn't see an average. Was there one on there?
I thought so.
Yeah. There's one in the folder, front sheet. I saw one in there.
What is it? Because I didn't see it.
Average is 19.54% for the area. I didn't label it as average, but it is there.
Okay, that's probably why I didn't see it. And then, would you clarify again the height of the structure, which?
Sure,
29 feet?
I have 29 feet, 9 1/8 inches.
Always get that 1/8 of an inch in there.
Okay, let's be specific.
And you're going to replace the cesspool with a Title V?
Correct.
Thank you.
Cesspool's going to stay.
Cesspool's leaving.
Oh, it's leaving.
New Title V system.
I had the height question, too. I couldn't find it on there.
I had to do a little math because it measured to the top of the foundation, and then I added to the garage slab.
Hey, that's all I have, too. Jim?
Mr. Duffy addressed the average. I have the same question. The rinse station's being removed and not replaced? According to the plan?
No, it's
There's a
not.
new
The
one.
proposed rinse station is shown.
All right, I was
Yeah,
kind
right.
of scratching my head like, are you sure?
No, proposed rinse station shown on the plan.
Okay. Never seen bathrooms, two bathrooms right next to one another. Is that just a shower and bathroom number 2, the one on the right-hand side?
Would you mind directing me which page you were looking at?
Certainly. I'm not, I mean, always concerned about
A12.
additional bedrooms, but I'm
Sure.
I'm not opposed to this project, but.
I don't know that there's any real rationale other than you have, the office bonus room on one side and the bedrooms on the other, and I don't think you'd ever have too many bathrooms in a house.
It's because you got too many kids.
In fact, you have too many kids.
Standard Title V, not an IA?
It's designed to accommodate a Title V, but
That
it's
was
not
the next
required.
question,
It's
if
not
you've got the
required to go
reserve
to
area.
a denied system at this point.
No, it's architecturally very nice, and I don't see any red flags, so thank you.
Tony, you're at bat.
All questions asked and answered. Very, very nice project.
Yeah. Have anything?
I'm all set.
Good? Any further questions up here before I go to the public? Anybody from the public want to comment on this? Wow. Don't be shy group tonight now on me.
They can be shy.
Okay. We'll battle it out. Anybody want to make a motion for me?
I make a motion.
We're all set up here?
I'm all set, thank you.
We'll close?
Yes,
I'll make the motion.
I did. I just
You made the
it,
motion to
yeah.
close?
I'll second.
Motion, Mark. Second, Jim. All those in favor? You're all set? For us to close? Okay, we're all set? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none?
Make a motion to approve with conditions.
We have a motion to approve of the conditions
Second.
and a second by Frank.
All right, so I'm going to amend the findings, or excuse me, the facts which I read. We now have on record that the lot coverage by structure average in the neighborhood is 19.54%. The height of the structure will be 29 feet, 9 1/8 inches. There'll be a new Title V septic system, and we had no public comment at the public hearing. So, under Section 240-11.3A4, in an RB district, the lot coverage by structure may exceed 20% to a maximum of 25% by special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals, after we consider that the size and height of the proposed structure relates to the size and height of existing structures in the neighborhood. There's no adverse effect of shadows on adjacent property. There's no adverse effect on views and vistas from a public way, and the Title V septic system covers the nitrogen on coastal embayment situation. For special permit, Section 240-12.1E of the Falmouth zoning bylaw, we're finding that the proposed structure will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. Taking into consideration, we find that the site is adequate for the proposal. The site is suitable for the proposal. There's no negative impact on traffic flow and safety. There's no negative impact on neighborhood visual character. There's adequate sewage disposal, there's adequate utilities, and there's no negative impact on the supply of affordable housing.
Any further findings?
Yes, please. Testimony is the cesspool be removed. Title V, standard Title V is being added. Testimony from the applicant that there is a reserve area if IA becomes mandated at a later date. That the project will bring the property into conformity with the zoning bylaw by virtue of the special permit. There are no new nonconformities. I think that's it.
I think that's it too, yeah. Thank you. Everybody all set? All set to vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none.
Great, thank you very much.
Enjoy. Good project.
You voting this one?
We're switching off.
I'm next.
Oh, conditions? Did you have any conditions?
Oh,
Did we
conditions might
forget
be.
conditions? We did.
Move to reopen the hearing, Madam
Move to
Chairman.
reopen. We did mess up. It was too easy. All right, conditions. Let's find my condition. Work hours, Monday through Friday, 7 to 4, is it? I have to get my paper out.
7 to 7, isn't it?
What?
7 to 7?
Is it 7, 7? I don't have my papers.
Monday through Saturday.
Monday through Friday,
Monday through Friday, Saturday, no Sundays, no holidays.
until 4 on
Till
Saturday.
4 on Saturday.
Upgrade the water main.
Yeah, relocation of water main. That's what it said. Relocation of water main. All per plans, all boards. No further structures.
No, they could, yeah, they're only going to 21. They'd have to amend the permit, though.
So this one can say no further structures.
It says the may need to be relocated outside the layout for future potential repair, and it does say that it should be upgraded to a 1-inch.
I thought it said that the regular line was under the addition.
It says the service may need to be relocated outside.
What's the referral say, Madam Chairman?
So let's
It said
just,
may.
May, it's
Yes,
a
it
May.
did say may.
Why don't we condition it as may need
May,
to be,
it's a May, it's a May, okay, got it, no shall. And you think of any other ones, Noreen? I think that's it, right?
construction to remain on.
Oh, yeah, they'll probably need police there,
They
yeah,
need to work with the police to come up with a traffic mitigation plan.
yeah. I think that's it. Sorry. Now, do we have to motion to close the hearing again?
Move to
Already
close.
closed.
But we opened
We reopened to add
to
conditions.
add the conditions.
I'll move to close and approve as amended with conditions.
I'll second. Did you get that?
Yeah.
All right. I think we're good finally, sorry.
Really busting
Boy,
out
now
those
we won't jump the gun
Robert's Rules of
anymore
Order
now, will we?
We've been off for 3 weeks.
We're rusty.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Let's vote.
Oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none. All right, getting back, we have 0132634 Bonito Ave.
Okay, this is application number 13 of 2026. Donald W. and Nadine Hill have applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Section 24011.3A4 of the Falmouth zoning bylaw to construct a single-family dwelling and thereby exceeding 20% lot coverage by structure. The subject property is redesignated as 34 Bonito Avenue in East Falmouth. The property is it is in an RC zoning district. It's in the Bournes Pond Coastal Pond Overlay District. It's a nitrogen-regulated area. The flood zone is X. The proposal is for a 4-bedroom, single-family dwelling on the property. There's no previous zoning board of appeals decisions relative to this property on file. The lot is 11,504 square feet in the zoning district, which currently requires 40,000 square feet. The street frontage is 100 feet in a zoning district, which currently requires 100, so it's right on target. Bonito is a public right-of-way at this location. The proposed structure will cover 24.79% of the lot. The limit is 20, so they need a special permit to exceed the 20%. The maximum we can grant is 25. The average lot coverage by structure in the neighborhood is identified in the worksheet at 17.46%. Lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving will be 32.9%, and 40% is the limit, so that conforms. There are no setback nonconformities because there's no structure on an empty lot. The height of the proposed building will be 29 feet 6 7/8 inch. We have referrals from engineering. They requested or suggested a driveway permit may be required, that stormwater runoff be contained on the property, that erosion and sediment control conditions be included in the conditions. And they also note that it's possible that when this lot was clear-cut, some trees in this public right-of-way may have been removed, and we're going to ask the applicant to address that during his presentation. The Board of Health has advised us that an IA system has been proposed. Conservation has no comment. The Building Department requests that we condition this permit, if granted, to certify lot coverage by structure because they're so close to the 25%. Planning Board has no comment, and we have one letter in support of this application in the file.
Take it away, sir.
I'm Don Hill. I'm the owner of the property. I'm not going to review the whole entire thing like he just did because I don't have that in front of me. I'm just here to answer the questions for the board. As far as the waste for the water coming off the driveway, we just actually had it redone, and it just came in today from BSS with a drain in front, tank in back, so it won't dump onto the street.
Are you submitting that to the record, or is that your only copy?
I just got it, yeah.
Okay, so
This
you
is
need
my
to make a
original
copy?
copy, so I brought it with me. If you'd like to take a look at it.
What? I couldn't hear.
You want to upload it?
Upload?
Yeah,
Sure, yeah. Yeah, she can just email it to them.
What's that?
You can just email it
Oh,
to them.
you said you wanted to upload it. Okay. I don't, like I said, there's only one copy, so they all can't see it. Can I just pass it to you?
We can just share it and then give it back to you,
Okay.
too. Because you should have the copy if there's only one.
So this is the new, so right here, see it right here? There's a drain, and then this is gonna come right over here.
With the fur, Madam Chairman, through you, the rest of the board, I think we can condition based on the representations and just request that that be submitted.
Yeah, she's gonna, the applicant said they would upload.
So I had gone to the DPW for that situation, and they were the ones who advised me of that.
Okay. Or you could come and make a copy in the office, and then they could have, we do want one in the file. so-
Yeah, okay.
All right, so any questions that we have? Mark, do you want to start off?
yeah, I know, I have none. It looks pretty straightforward. I mean, they're using their lot right to the max. God
Yeah.
bless them.
Yeah,
Well, the engineering referral mentioned that there may have been trees removed from the public right-of-way.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that. Do you know anything about that?
I do. So when we first had bought the lot, that lot's been in my family for 70 years. The property that's abuts the entire back of that street belonged to my grandfather. That was an easement lot that we owned. I purchased from my brothers. The first thing that I noticed was the trees were hanging in the street, and all the people had to go around the trees. So I had called the DPW, and I said, listen, this is a hazard, it's on my property. You know, a lot of it was on my property that was hanging over. So they came down and they cleared, you know, back like 6 feet. So there should be a record of that in the DPW that I had called and had them come out and clear that.
So it's cleared by the DPW.
It was. That was, I want to say that was last November. And I just want to say that when we first were proposing this house, I went to each and every neighbor and showed them the renderings of the property, what was going to go on there, to scale, everything. I know a lot of the neighbors from growing up because it's my grandfather's property, so I knew them all anyways. And I just wanted to, before we even went to this process, I wanted to make sure that they were okay with this. We tried to keep it a Cape, which was all Capes in the neighborhood. We tried to make everything, you know, conforming to them. And like I said, I approached every single one in the neighborhood, all of abutters within 2 houses, and told them what we were proposing. And I said, if you have any problems, let me know now before I start this process. And everybody else was, I actually have one of the neighbors loved the design so much, they own a lot behind the house. They want me to build the house behind that one.
there you go.
So everybody was, like I said, everybody was for it.
I appreciate you doing that. We try to encourage people
I'm a
all the
builder,
time. Yeah, no, it's
so I
important.
understand the process, and I
Yeah.
understand how people feel.
Yeah.
I also asked them about, is anybody, you know, we can start at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you're a person that sleeps late, we don't want to bother people, we'll start later. So we like I said, we tried to
Be nice.
be nice.
Yeah, I like that.
We tried to be nice.
I like that myself. Any questions for you? You have any questions?
Starting with me?
Yeah, well, these,
Oh, we're bouncing all around.
did you already go?
Yeah, I asked about
Yeah,
the trees.
right, that's what I thought, yeah.
So you're going to 24.79% lot coverage. You realize you can't add anything else after that?
I do. I spoke to the building inspector a year ago. He was the one who advised me to try and go to 25. He said it's going to be difficult to do something later on. He said, you're better off to try and do it all right in one shot. Like the shed, he said, put the
Thank you
shed
for adding
in.
the shed, because that's usually what happens down the road after a
Right.
project like this.
So he said, put the shed in, put everything that you can think of in.
Right, yep. Good.
Thank you for an IA septic that, nitrogen's a big issue in town. That makes, it's a big check for some people on the board. So looks very nice. Thank you for working with your neighbors. I know that there is at least one letter in support. Makes it a lot easier for us when there's no opposition to these hearings. So thank you.
Tony,
Very nice project. I have no questions.
you all set down there, Nick?
I'm all set.
All right. All set to go to the public?
Sure. It's here.
Anybody from the public want to speak on this? Nope. And don't forget that copy.
Okay, thank you.
I think we're all set. Anybody have any further questions? Noreen, you have anything?
Shouldn't we close, Madam Chair?
We have a motion to close,
I'll second.
and Jim seconds. You're all set?
Okay,
You're all set?
I'm all set,
Okay.
yes.
All those in favor of closing?
Aye.
Opposed, none.
Aye.
You can make the motion if you'd
I'll
like.
make a motion to approve with conditions.
We have a motion to approve with conditions?
Second.
And a second with Tony. All right, Frank.
So to amend the facts read at the beginning of the hearing, the applicant has produced an additional plan showing how he's going to contain stormwater runoff on the driveway. He's answered the question from the engineering referral about trees being removed from the public right-of-way by informing us that at his request, the DPW removed certain trees that were overhanging into the street. We also had no public comment at the public hearing. So this is a special permit now, under section 240.11.3A4 of the Falmouth zoning bylaw, which allows in an RC district a maximum of 25% lot coverage by structure by special permit from this board when we determine that the size and height of the proposed structure is relative to the average size and height of neighborhood structures. There's no impacts by shadows on adjacent property. There's no impact on views and vistas from public ways. And the nitrogen and coastal embayments is handled by a proposed IA system. For purposes of a special permit, under section 240.12.1E, we determine that the proposed structure is not significantly more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structures in the neighborhood. We find that the site is adequate for the proposed use. It is suitable for the proposed use. There's no negative impacts on traffic flow and safety. There's no negative impacts on the visual character of the neighborhood. There's adequate utilities, there's adequate sewage disposal, and this will not affect the supply of affordable housing.
Any further?
I'm just going to bolster up the revised plan, if that's all right, Madam Chairman. Applicant provided a revised plan. Date of plan is 2/10/26, revisions of 3/30/26, and signed by Mike Rosselli, a registered professional engineer, date of 3/31/26. That will be the plan that the board has considered as per, and will be conditioned. We can condition that it has to be submitted.
Yeah,
Been a couple
I
days.
wrote that down, yeah. All right, so any other findings? Or you have anything? I think we got everything. Yeah,
Did we cover, I'm sorry, no opposition at the hearing, one letter of support?
did that,
Thank you.
yep. Conditions?
Per plan of 2/10/26, revised 3/30/26, and signed by Mike Rosselli, 3/31/26. Plan to be, or copy of plan to be submitted, 7 days enough time?
20.
Tonight?
Tonight? That's not quick, that's not quick enough.
Within 7 days. And then, where we want for the standard ones, Madam Chairman.
As-built certification.
Yeah, the as-built,
For lot coverage by structure.
right. You need an as-built for the lot coverage. It says in the file that tree warden needs to sign off, though.
I didn't think he said he had to
Does
sign
it-
off.
It might say May again. I don't know.
Put it down. If he...
May, the tree warden, he may need approval from the tree warden.
I think engineering suggested that it had been referred to the tree warden, so I'm sure they'll check it out and figure out.
We just need a sign off, that's all we need from the tree warden. You did the copy of the driveway. No further structures. Oh, times. Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, Saturday, 8 to 4, no Sundays, no holidays. Construction vehicles must be located on the lot. You probably have extra room up there with all your relatives, so
7 acres.
that may
7
help.
acres cleared.
I can't think of anything else. We did all boards. Yeah, I think we're all set, right? Think of anything? All right, we have a motion?
Yes.
Did a motion in a second. Everybody's all set? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Great, good luck.
Thank you.
And thank you for going to your neighbors, I appreciate that. All right, next at bat, let's see, we have 01426, 0 Cummaquid Road.
Okay, this is application number 14 of the year 2026. Brian F. and Kimberly A. Dalia have applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Section 240-11.3A4 of the Falmouth zoning bylaw to construct a single-family dwelling exceeding 20% lot coverage by structure. The property has no numerical address, but it's Lot 203. It's at the corner of Cummaquid Road and Shawm Avenue in North Falmouth. For further information, we're in an RC zoning district. There's no noted overlay district on the plan. Flood zone is X. This proposal is for a single-family dwelling of 2,401 square feet. No previous zoning board of appeals decisions. The lot is 9,850 square feet. Current requirement is 40,000 square feet. The street frontage is, well, I'm going to tell you, there's two streets frontage. On Cummaquid, it's 53.89 feet. On Shawm, it's 132.39 feet. It's a corner lot. 100 feet is required by the zoning bylaw. Cummaquid Road is a private right-of-way at this particular location. The proposal is for a structure having lot coverage by structure of 24.9%. The limit is 20, but we're allowed to give you a special permit up to 25%. The structure, parking and paving will be 32.3%. The limit is 40, so that's fine. The lot coverage by structure, according to the worksheet in the file, is 17.3%. The setbacks, there's nothing on the lot to report as far as setbacks, but the proposed structure will conform to all existing setbacks of the zoning bylaw. The height of the proposed structure, according to my information, is 28.1 feet. We have a referral from the building commissioner saying that he has designated Cummaquid Road as the front yard. He's allowed to do that where there's a corner lot. Engineering has advised us that stormwater runoff should be contained on the property. They've also noted that they consider the location of the driveway to be unsafe because it's too close to the corner of the two converging streets. And also that we condition the special permit with soil erosion and sediment control. I didn't see any other referrals in the file. Were there any?
I didn't see any, no.
No. We have 4 letters in support of this application in the file, none in opposition.
Okay, Tony, you're in on this one, okay?
I just
Oh, you
voted
just
last
did on that one, okay, it's you. We're going too fast today. Mark, you want to start off?
Yeah.
Should I present first?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I am like so rusty. I
You guys want to go? I mean, listen, if you're good, I'm
I
good.
know, I am rusty. I
break. You gotta
apologize.
retrain us.
Too much time off.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, Kevin Clower. I am before you representing Brian and Kimberly Dalia, the owners of 0 or Lot 203 Cummaquid Road. They're seeking permission to construct a new single-family dwelling, which will have proposed lot coverage by structure of 24.9%. So this property is located in the neighborhood just north of Old Silver. I'm not quite sure what to call this neighborhood. I'm just going to call it
Just north of.
just north of Old Silver. Need a catchy acronym like, slightly north of Broad. But the lot is 9,650 square feet, which is fairly typical for the area. As Mr. Duffy noted, it is a residential C zoning district, and it's not in a flood zone. Presently, this is a vacant parcel, corner of Shawnee Road and Cummaquid Road, and we're proposing a new 2-story, 4-bedroom dwelling with a proposed ridge height of 28.1 feet, which will be compliant with all setback requirements. As was noted, there was a front yard designation made by the building commissioner, setting Cummaquid as the front yard for zoning purposes. A copy of that signed letter was included in the application. With that determination, the proposed front yard setback is 34.2 feet. The side yard setbacks both exceed 11 feet. The rear yard setback is 34.7 feet. Proposed lot coverage by structure is 32.3 feet, which is conforming and well below the 40% allowed. And the lot coverage by structures is 24.9%, which does require a special permit pursuant to 240-11.3A4. Under that section of the bylaw, lot coverage by structure above 20% may be allowed by this board by special permit. And you're asked to consider the size and height of the structure in relation to the neighborhood, effective shadow on adjacent properties, impacts on views and vistas from public ways, and the impact of nitrogen on coastal embayments. Again, in this case, there's no impact to views and vistas from public ways because both Shawnee and Cummaquid roads are private. As to the size and fit with the neighborhood, we did submit the lot comparison worksheet looking at, again, in this case, 35 nearby properties within a 300-foot radius. And I think as that shows, it's not out of character with the neighborhood in terms of either gross floor area or footprint. And the applicant is proposing a 4-bedroom nitro wastewater system, which is a denitrification system in accordance with the Board of Health requirements. We did receive the referral from the engineering, noting their objection to the driveway. In response to that, I would note the following. This is a very quiet, private way, which is an unfinished dirt road, Cummaquid that is, with very little traffic. The plans have been reviewed by the building commissioner. The driveway will have a full view of both roads. And the proposed location provides separation from the driveway at 5 Cummaquid, the property just to the south, which is located right on the northerly property line of that abutting parcel. We believe the driveway as proposed is appropriate and certainly allowable. Beyond that, this meets the requirements of 240-12.1E. The site is adequate and suitable for the proposed use. It's a proposed single-family dwelling, which is a by right use in this district and similar to the entire neighborhood. The wastewater has been addressed by the denitrification system, which is in accordance with the health standards. There's no negative impact on traffic flow and safety. The proposal is in character with the neighborhood with no negative impact on views and vistas from public ways, and there are adequate utilities servicing the site with no adverse effects on public ways, on public services. Dalia's proposal is a by right use in a residentially zoned district, which is in conformance with the neighborhood and supported by the abutters. There's no adverse effects here which overbalance the benefits that I've outlined. I believe this meets all the requirements of 240-11.3A4 and 240-12.1E. For these reasons, I would ask that the board grant the special permit, but I'd be happy to address any questions that you may have at this time.
Want to start down this side, shake it up?
So the driveway's right there in the corner?
Yep. Which is not dissimilar from a number of other properties right in this area. The property on the corner of Pamet and Sham is located in almost an identical area. And part of the rationale for that is if you look at, this is the location of the driveway at the abutting property to the south, which is just up against this property line. So moving it up here separates it from that driveway. You really don't want two driveways nestled together in that sense.
And so that's on, and the frontage is on,
So our designated frontage
Cummaquid.
is this area here on Cummaquid. That's a designated frontage, front yard for zoning purposes.
okay. All right, that's all I got for now.
Thanks. Tony?
What is the measurement of the frontage that's designated as?
43.
Well, it's 53 feet on Cummaquid and 132.39 on Shawm, according to the
Yeah, we brought it
plan.
up to the corner here, so it's 32 plus, it's probably in the range of 70 some odd.
And what's the requirement?
Well, minimum frontage for a lot to be, current minimum frontage is 100 feet. But this lot, one, predates that requirement, and two, the requirement at the time the lot was created was only 50 feet, which is the frontage that was provided and has been designated as the front yard.
It's a good project, I have no questions. More questions?
Jim?
I was going to conduct rigorous cross-examination until I saw the larger plans and then realized, oh, there is a second means of egress to the basement. Just kind of reeked of unpermitted apartment, but with the second egress, I have no questions. Architecturally, it's very nice, so thank you.
Do you think since it's so close to the curb, it should be clear around the driveway?
I think the intent is for it to be clear. I mean, they're going to clear the trees and shrubs from around the driveway, so that you'll have full, if you were backing out of the driveway, you'd have a full view of both Shawmy and Cummaquid.
And people coming up from that house
Yep.
can see the driveway?
Yep.
I just didn't know if we should condition to keep it clear for sight.
I mean,
I don't-
they're going to, whether you condition it or not.
Okay. I just was worried about the safety part of it, that's all. That's all I had. Frank?
Well, when I went out to my site visit, I was concerned about the engineering referral mentioning the unsafe location of the driveway, but I was out there for over 5 minutes walking around, and not a single car went past. This is practically a dead street, so I'm okay with it.
I have nothing. It looks like a good project to me. I did the same thing. I mean, I believe there's plenty of sight line, provided they don't go blocking it up with trees or hedges. And I don't see why anybody would do such a thing, so I'm all good. Easy week
Guys all
for you,
set for
Cap.
questions?
You're going to buy a scratch ticket on the way home.
Yeah, no. You guys all set before we go to the public? Yep. All set for the public?
all-
Anybody from the public want to, come on up.
We didn't know we had to submit
We
anything.
need your name and address, please.
I'm Heidi DiGiovanni, and this is my husband,
Oh, I just saw you on the plan.
Eugene DiGiovanni. And we live at 24 Nauset Avenue East, so we abut this property
Mm-hmm.
that has been vacant, obviously, with lots of trees. It's a beautiful lot. Many of us questioned that it was even a buildable lot. And so we have neighbors on 3 sides, so this is the corner lot that abuts us. And it's a beautiful treed lot, as I say, and so, we hate to see all the trees knocked down. We don't know if any can be saved at all. That's one thing. And also, we've lived on our property for 10 years. We renovated 10 years ago, and we could not exceed the 20%. Our house will be much smaller than theirs. There is a zoning law in town, but it seems like a lot of people exceed that. And so there's the fairness or injustice of it all that brought us here today. And while, we'll be good neighbors, and we look forward to meeting our new neighbors, we feel that we didn't want a house quite as big, kind of towering over us. The regulations are for 1,930 square feet, and the plans are for 2,401 square feet. So that's 471 square feet bigger, increasing the square footage of the size of the house by 25%. So that, to us, is significant. And so it's the size of the house that we're opposed to, and also clearing. We don't know by regulation how many of the trees can be saved, but right now we sit in our backyard, we have birds in the trees, and it's a beautiful lot as it is. So we hate to see all the trees being knocked down. So I don't know what the regulations are as far as that's concerned, if any of them can be saved along the property line. We've noticed the markers in the lot itself, and it is quite a project. So,
Yep.
and many of our neighbors are summer residents, so that's probably why they're not here. And it directly affects us. That's why we are here. Because instead of a beautiful treed lot, we're going to see a big house, which is, you know, they have every right to build, but we're opposed to the size.
Okay, thank you. Kevin, will you address the trees for me?
I'll be happy to. I try to, at least. Just
Because
in
that corner
response.
looks like it could, you know,
So they actually show a retention of a number of foliage, I don't know how else to describe it, number of the existing trees. They don't itemize the trees, but this area, this is the edge of clearing shown about, let's call it 8 feet off the property line. Happy to preserve this as much as we can, as well as an area along this property line, which I believe is Ms. D. Giovanni. We can't have it go much further than that because that's where we get into the septic area.
Septic, yeah.
You can't really have trees growing above a septic. It's not great. But, you know, by testimony, I'm happy to state to you that they'll work to preserve as much of that buffer area as they can. You know, I don't.
good if you could get down as far as you can towards the septic.
Yeah, I think that they'd
without
be happy to
causing
do
the
that.
septic havoc.
Yeah, and just speaking with Mr. Dalia, he has no issue with that. I don't know how you could appropriately condition that other than finding by testimony that we've given that as a representation. And in response to what the other comments by Mrs. D. Giovanni, I would just say that the lot coverage by right is 20%, and there is a pretty straightforward process by which this board can allow lot coverage in excess of 20%, up to 25%. It's not a matter of injustice or you know, impropriety. It's just a matter of going through the process, which is exactly what the applicants are doing tonight.
You got to talk to the
They can
neighbors.
come here and get the same 25%.
Yeah.
And
Sub 20.
I would note that we have spoken to a number of the neighbors because you've received 4 letters of
Yeah, we did
support.
get 4 letters in favor, yeah.
Getting back to the trees, Attorney Cloward, do you have any objection to a condition? There'll be no cutting of trees that are in common ownership without the assent of both parties, more or less the law.
Of course, yes, we will comply with the law.
Thank you.
We will do what we're supposed to do in that sense, yes, absolutely. I have no issue
If
with
you have
that.
another question, come on up. You got to come up here, though, okay?
I just have a question. I think the town owns some property or on the Shawmy side. Is the property line, seems like there's a space between the street and the property line where there are some trees growing. And I don't know whose property is that?
I'm happy to speak to that. So, through you, Madam Chair, this is a private way, so it's not a road layout owned by the town. Generally, under the derelict fee statute, when a property owner abuts a private way and there's no specific reservation of that fee, the property owner is deemed to own to the center line, subject to the rights of others to pass over that property. So in this case, it wouldn't be a matter of going to the tree warden in order to remove those trees. That area would be considered owned by Mr. Dalia, Mr. and Mrs. Dalia, and subject to their control. What they can't do is impede the rights of others to pass over that area, which they're certainly not doing anyways.
Did you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else from the public want to comment? Everybody's good up here? You all set, Kevin? What do you guys think? Any other questions?
May I, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
With regard, just try and help out a little bit, but just with regard to where it says edge of clearing, that's roughly 5 or 6 feet. That's not a lot of trees, but that's fine. I'm not sure how we would condition it otherwise, other than what, per plans.
Yeah.
And then, I don't even know if you can do that.
I mean, testimony from, and I spoke with the applicant just while we were listening to the Di Giovanni's present, and, you know, they obviously want to be good neighbors, and they want to have a buffer area between themselves and their neighbors as well. So I think that, you know, whether you condition this or not, there's going to be a buffer area remaining, and they're going to do what they can to preserve it.
Yeah, per plan, so, the way it showed.
I wanted to go up a little, I wanted to hook the corner, though, with trees.
It's about 5 feet, so make a corner of 5 feet.
Yeah. That's, I mean, at least it would cover their whole, you only have 18.
The problem with
Yeah,
these things are
18 feet.
trying to maintain natural if you don't mind, Madam Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
with trying to maintain natural vegetation is, I don't know what the condition of that vegetation is. I don't know how you preserve it in this particular case versus something forested, a little bit different than what this is. I think it's difficult to condition other than per plans, to be honest with you, but we'll see where the board votes on it.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. Any other further questions up here? You all set down there? Anything for you? We're good? I'll take a motion.
Close.
Second.
We have a motion to close in a second. You're all set, Attorney Clower? Yep.
I'll say.
All those in favor of closing?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none. Take another motion.
Motion to approve with conditions.
Second.
Motion approved with a second. Frank?
Okay, we have the following additions to the facts which I read at the beginning of the hearing. This is a 4-bedroom home. We have been informed that there will be a D-Night septic system installed at the property. We had assurances from the applicant through the council that they will save as many trees as they can, not clear cut to the boundary line. We also note that there's public comment from Heidi and Eugene Di Giovanni, who had concerns about the project.
Mr. Duffy, I should have noted, I think you said it was 9,850 square feet. It's 9,650 square feet.
9,000, I said
9650.
I think you said 850.
I
It's
did say,
650. Yeah.
it's 9650?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. So we have, this is a special permit now under section 24011.3A4 of the Falmouth zoning bylaw, where we are allowed to approve lot coverage by structure to a maximum of 25% by special permit upon finding that the size and height of the proposed structure is relative in scale to the average size and height of other neighborhood structures. There is no negative effect on shadows to adjacent properties. No negative effects on views and vistas from public ways, because there are private ways in this neighborhood. And nitrogen and coastal embayments is covered by the IA system to be installed. Special permit under section 24012.1E of the Falmouth zoning bylaw, we make a finding that the proposed structure will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. Upon a finding that the site is adequate for the proposed use, the site is suitable for the proposed use, there's no negative impacts on traffic flow and safety, no negative impacts on visual character of the neighborhood, that there are adequate utilities, adequate sewage disposal, and there'll be no negative impact on the supply of affordable housing.
Any further findings? Is the Cummaquid front yard a new finding? Did you say that one?
I read it at the beginning.
Oh, okay, all right.
I would just note, Mr. Duffy said not, then the existing structure, there is no existing structure, so existing conditions, I think, would probably be the
Oh, okay.
appropriate.
Okay.
Well, it's referring to existing structures in the neighborhood.
Do you have any further findings? No? Anybody else? Do you have any? All right, conditions. As built. On the
Certified
structure.
lot
Certified lot
Certified
coverage.
lot coverage. Yep.
No further lot coverage. Adoption of the soil erosion and sediment controls per the town referral.
Per plans, all boards. Construction hours 7 to 7, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 on Saturdays, no Sundays, no holidays. That will probably be requiring, well, you do have that
Space in
whole
the front
road.
yard and backyard.
Anyway, you can deal with the police if you need to have, all construction vehicles must remain in the lot.
There'll be no cutting of trees on common ownership without consent of both parties.
Yeah. Is that,
That's the law.
I know, but do you think that's good enough for the tree?
I don't think we have the authority to mandate on a
Yeah.
40A a buffer zone of trees. We've had the applicant's testimony on what they're going to do. I think that's about as good as we can get in terms of a condition.
Well, they might have to plant too. It's a double planting session. They could have a planting party. All right, I think that's it for conditions. Do you have any more? We're all set? Everybody all set to vote?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your
Thanks.
time this evening.
All right, moving on. Buy his glasses, big time. And last at bat, we have 01526, Athamni, sorry. You can help me say that, I didn't mean to ruin that.
So, this is application number 15 of the year 2026 by Yusef Athamni, has applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Section 240.11.3A4 and Section 246.1B to construct a detached accessory unit, thereby exceeding 20% lot coverage by structure. Additional facts for the record. The property is in an AGB zoning district. It's in the Great Pond Coastal Pond Overlay District. There's no flood zone. No previous decisions of the Zoning Board of Appeals on record. The lot is 15,613 square feet in a zoning district currently requiring 40,000 square feet. The street frontage, which is Sandwich Road, is 106.7 feet. 100 feet is required in this zoning district. Sandwich Road is a public right-of-way at this location. The existing lot coverage by structure is 19.4%. It will be increased by the ADU, or that's the accessory dwelling unit, to 24.9%. The limit is 20%. They need the special permit to exceed 20%. The maximum is 25%. The average lot coverage by structure in this neighborhood is 12.53%. Lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving is 31.7%. It will be increased to 37.2%. The limit is 40%, so they're within the limits of the zoning bylaw. We've been advised that the existing single-family dwelling on this property conforms to the zoning bylaw in terms of setbacks. We have in a referral from the engineering, they've asked us that stormwater be contained on the property, that we apply the soil erosion and sediment control standards. They've also noted that the fence and the bushes along Sandwich Way appear to be in the public right-of-way, and we're going to ask the applicant to deal with that during this hearing. I have kind of a strange referral from the Health Department, basically saying they need more information. Do we have any more information? No? Okay. And we have no other referrals of record.
Come on up.
Sorry for my accent, I hope you understand. So, good evening, Madam Chairman and members of the board. My name is Yosef, I'm owner of the 561 Sandwich Road in East Falmouth. I'm requesting a special permit to construct an ADU, which requires relief from the 20% lot coverage. The ADU will be located toward the rear of the house and positioned behind the existing dwelling to minimize visibility and impact. The existing lot coverage is approximately 19.4%, and the proposed project increases it to 24.9%. The project has been professionally designed, including septic and utilities, and has been laid out to work within the existing site condition. The ADU is intended to provide housing for my son and his wife, and the design minimizes impact on the neighborhood, and the site will be built according to the board requirements. I respectfully request approval.
That's it, you good? All right. Mark, do you want to start off?
Sure. Again, I don't see anything to question here. It's nicely placed behind the house. I can understand his need for
If you had any yard, you'd put one in for your son.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I'd probably put it further back.
Maybe in another town, but that's okay.
No, I don't have any problem at all, and I understand completely its need for a accessory dwelling. I guess that's a good spot. That's all.
Go ahead, Frank.
Sir, what is the square footage of the ADU?
I think it is according to the requirement. I think it is 900.
900, is it less than 900?
Yes.
You know exactly what it is?
I think it is 900
All right,
or less.
okay, 900. And you, can you represent to this board that there will be no weekly or monthly rentals?
This is strictly for family purposes.
Okay. And what about parking for any vehicle that's associated with the ADU? Is it going to be on the lot?
Yes.
They were paving it when I went there.
Now, we had kind of a vague reference or referral from the health department. Have you talked to them about the necessary permits that you may need?
Yes,
What
I have
you
been.
done?
Yeah, me, myself, and the engineering office are in contact with them. Everything we're going to do has to go through the engineering office and the permitting department.
Next question down the line.
What are you going to do about the fence out front?
Everything will be modified according to the town and whatever the engineering office is advising us to do.
That fence has been there for decades.
You can actually get a license.
They're not, Noreen was telling me, though, that they're hesitant to do licensing anymore, right?
I know
That's the
this house.
information I'm being
Right.
given. Yeah.
Not in the roadway. I mean, we've traditionally conditioned that, Madam Chairman, to either remove it or condition or get a license. But the applicant, I think as long as the applicant's aware, we've done our job if we condition it that way.
And we'll just, can we condition a
Condition to
license?
either remove the obstruction to the public way or to get it licensed through the
Get a
Board of Selectmen.
license from the selectmen.
We can still use that condition?
Yes, I think the select board, though, was beginning to become overrun with people asking. And so I think they were trying to change their outlook and instead have people remove structures in the right of way. But I guess, you know, in this circumstance, you're getting some, I don't know, buffering essentially from that being there. So I guess they could ask, right? And if not, if you don't get permission to keep it, then it would have to get removed.
Selectmen say no, then it's a
So-
removal.
So we can use your
The fact that
condition
it's
then.
been there
Okay.
for, well, I mean, that fence has been there for probably,
How long have you owned that?
Over 20 years.
20 years, so it's your
I work
fence?
at Falmouth Hospital, by the way. I've been here at Falmouth Hospital for 25 years. And my son and his wife both are nurses. And
Are they? Did you put that fence in yourself?
me, no.
I mean, did you
I mean,
hire someone to put it
yes.
in?
Yeah, I hired a company here in town, yeah.
All right, so we're going to condition that you may have to move it or take it down, because it may be on town property.
If it is, I would, yeah.
So we're just going to condition it that, I feel.
No, I
we should.
agree.
Yeah. And I don't think I have any other questions. The ADU height is 25 feet?
Yes.
12 inches?
Yes, it won't,
5 feet, 12
25
inches.
inches, 12 inches. I think it says 11 on here.
How tall are you? 5'11",
5'11 and a half, yeah.
It's 20, I got 25.5
.1.
feet.
I
Three.
had 26 feet, 3 inches, but
You have 26.3? It doesn't really matter, I just want it for the record, you know.
All
Yeah.
right.
Do you have any other questions? Or I'm done, so if you have any questions.
No, I mean, the ADU is by right, by statute, 900 square feet. It's needed, obviously, both recognized by the applicant's testimony as well as the well-documented shortage of housing for younger people in this community. So I think the only thing we have to consider is lot coverage, where we routinely allow up to 24.9%. So I have no questions or objections, subject to neighbor concerns.
And there does seem to be at least a little pull-off in the parking area, so I think we don't have to really worry about parking. There's like a T I think. I don't think we have to condition it anyway. Tony, do you have anything?
Just a quick question. Not that GIS maps are accurate, but it does show a unit on the property now that I didn't see, noted as 561A. There's nothing back there now, is there? No. Okay. That was my question. Thank you.
Nick, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Any other further questions up here?
Motion to close.
Anybody from the public want to comment on this? Come on up.
Sure. Madam Chair, Board, Caitlin and Ben Trad, abutters at 551 Sandwich Road. We've owned our property since 2011, so 15 years, been neighbors of the Athamnis. To answer your question about the fence, it went in since we've owned our property, so it's within the last, I would say, 10 years that fence went up. We had some questions tonight regarding the use of the ADU. They did not approach us about these additions, and we've seen signage on the property indicating Airbnb usage of their lower walkout basement, so had concerns over whether this property would also be used as an ADU. Additionally, there was something else.
Yeah, so the plot plan that I saw that was with the application here did not include quite a bit of paving that actually went on this week on the property.
Yesterday.
That has added quite a bit to the overall lot coverage. I know they're close at 37%. I think this may push them over. This was done, again, in the last 2 days.
So we have further concerns over the
Drainage.
slopage of the property and drainage towards the rear of the property with vernal pools, and pooling of water and mosquito breeding and all that comes with that.
The rear of the property is a bit of a bowl back there past their property lines. There's no drainage anywhere. It all goes down to kind of a low area there that right now is not a wetland of any type, but I'm worried that, as all that water comes off that paved area, plus the ADU, that there's going to be problems there.
We kind of are the only residential neighbors. The neighbors in the rear are the Chillmark at Falmouth condominium complex. We've spoken to some of the neighbors up there who had questions because they also got letters inviting them to this Board of Appeals, and they were wondering what, if anything, it would have an impact on. Additionally, the other side of the property is the Carlton Circle Motel. So I presume they don't really have much, to comment on this. I would encourage you to look at the lot plans as well. The 561A that you may have been referring to, there is a shed on that lot plan that exceeds the lot line. And we just have concerns over lot encroachment. The porch that was put on a few years ago is within 10 feet of our property line.
We also had some trees cleared as well.
By the Athamnis a few years ago that were on our property.
Your trees?
Our trees, yeah.
Try to be good neighbors and not make a big deal of it, but well over the line.
So just generally concerns over a lack of respect for property boundaries.
Well, that's not good. Okay.
May I ask a question, ma'am?
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Absolutely.
On what I referred to on the GIS map as 561A, have you ever seen anyone living in that?
No, it's clearly a shed, a utility shed of, equipment for the yard.
Right at the bottom of the driveway there.
Yeah.
But yeah, between the paving that happened just this week and the additional, hard structure that doesn't allow for drainage, we just had concerns over this project.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. The shed does cross over. Do you want to address any of that for us? The shed does cross over. It's not before us, I understand.
Neighbors,
If it's their
Civil
shed,
issue, yeah.
if it's their shed, you can require them to move it onto their property.
Public records are part of the lot calculations.
Yeah. That's a good question.
I'm also concerned about with the additional paving, what the total lot coverage paving, parking, and so on might
Yeah,
be at.
there was new
If it exceeds
pavement.
40, that's going to
Well,
be
we
a
can do
problem.
an as-built.
They're doing as-built.
They're doing as-built of parking, paving, and structure
Oh.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the excess paving is coming in the driveway to the left. It's little more than another parking space, so I question that it's going to be the 3% that brings them over the 40.
It's a little more than just to the left. It actually comes right up to our boundary, our property boundary line.
Well, Madam Chair,
Surveyed when they took.
Hold on, you have to come up if you're going to talk, sorry.
if it goes over that, it's going to be expensive to remove it, so if you do the as-built and it's over the 40%,
Yeah, take
you're going
it
to have to
out.
remove it.
Rip it out.
That's what we can do, is condition it that if he goes over, he tears it down, the tar. You know,
The
The paving.
paving.
Pavement,
Okay.
the lot coverage for the 40.
Okay.
I don't think we should make him move the shed myself. I mean, we could maybe ask for screening?
Been there forever.
There's a concrete slab. It's clear it's there.
That's asking a lot. It wasn't nice that they did that, though,
Yeah.
without,
It just, there's been a lot of kind of not nice taking down 20 to 30 mature trees and
Yeah, they were
Clearing
over
a
by about
large-
30 feet
yeah.
on the property line. They didn't have to
they went
survey.
30 into yours?
into ours. Yeah.
May I ask a question, Madam
Yeah,
Chair?
go ahead.
Yeah.
How long has that shed been there, 21 years?
The shed? No, within the last,
10, maybe 8.
yeah, I would say 5 to 10 years.
And how
We
many
just-
square feet do you think it is?
The shed, it's not huge. It's probably double what ours is, which is
100
like
square feet or less?
10 by 10?
probably about 10 by 10.
Yeah.
8 by
That's what
10.
it looked like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be at least 3 feet off the lot line then.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah. And whose property is it up against yours?
Although that change for the 3 feet, if you're under 100 square feet, that only went in a couple of years ago. So if the shed was put in
10 years ago.
prior to, if the shed is 10 years old, then the shed was put in before the setbacks. But you still have to have it be on your own property.
Yeah. I just think it's a big ask to move something like that. It's, myself, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's on, whose parcel is it
I
encroaching on?
believe that's the Chillmark at Falmouth
Yeah,
parcel. They have a
it's the
tiny
back of that
triangle.
turnaround, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a tiny triangle that comes down between our
If they
properties.
have, if Cummaquid Group has a concern, they've got another 11 years to go
And they're
before it
not here.
becomes
The law
adverse
does not
possession.
like- The law prefers people who don't sit on their rights, so if Shellmark.
And they would probably be
Tell them to
here if
remove
it
it.
was,
Yeah.
Or
Well,
file
that's-
suit.
They would be what?
they would be here if it was a huge concern for them.
Sure,
I
yeah.
would think.
They don't, there's
I don't think that's a
pretty large wooded buffer
Yeah.
between Chillmark and this property, and there was a large wooded buffer between ours. but
yeah, our
it's not
concerns
there
are really
anymore.
the use and the adherence to the zoning code.
Well, he did state that it's going to be for his son, and we can condition that it cannot be a rental?
You can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he stated it right here at the
Yeah.
podium.
We have concerns over just
Yeah.
the,
There's use
the
that you think
impact
is
of-
illegal. We're not the enforcement arm. You need to contact the building inspector.
okay.
Yeah. But we can condition what he said. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's also in the law that it can't be.
Yeah.
rented,
yeah,
so-
right.
Right, has to, there's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of rules.
It
in
is,
the ADU
it's a
bylaw.
law that they can't rent too.
Yeah, by right, the
Right,
accessory though.
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Why not? So you've had concerns because you've gone across the lines.
I'm sorry about whatever they
Yeah,
said.
you can't be doing that stuff. You can't do that. No. You wouldn't like it if someone did it to you. No.
Again, I love my neighbors.
Yeah.
We're very peaceful.
So you're
we
going to be,
always
how many
share-
feet is this ADU? 10? 11? So you can't clear past the 11 feet?
I won't do anything unless it is legal and approved by the engineer and the town.
Okay.
I'm not a builder, I'm not a handyman, and there was an incident, and I apologized many times, and I'm gonna apologize again to them. I usually work at the hospital, and I work overnight shift. My own neighbor was along with the landscaper, and
Area.
I'm not familiar with the plan itself. I mean, I could look at it, but I can't visualize it. And I believe the landscaper had asked him and based on his responses, he did what he did. It was extremely wrong. I was upset with it. I didn't see it when he was doing it. And again, I apologize for it. But currently, there's a fence between us, and there's more than wide empty lot on buffer zone and trees. I won't do anything again illegal. I won't construct anything unless it is approved by the engineering office, exactly what I did, and by the town.
That sounds good to me. That sound okay? You guys, any other further questions before I go to the public? Anyone else from the public? We already went to the public. Anyone else from the public? Think anybody else have any further questions, Tony?
I do have a question. This isn't a coastal pond overlay district. Aren't they required to have a denied system?
Yes.
Well, there is, my only outstanding concern is, this one said it was an unusual Board of Health.
We didn't get any information from the Board of Health.
Yeah, so this isn't a nitrogen sensitive, well, it appears to be in a
No, it
nitrogen
says in the
sensitive
file
area.
it's a nitrogen area.
Yeah,
In the
what is,
file.
but we didn't get anything from the,
Yeah, my,
Any increase of flow.
He's not getting a building permit without,
Right, so.
Well, they indicated they were short on information, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have to condition it that they provide that
meet all
information.
requirements of the Board of Health.
To what the Board of Health
We're
finally
gonna
does
get
decide?
anywhere without them anyway.
I think we can. We can just condition it to
Meet
whatever
all
the board-
requirements of the Board of Health.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I think we're good. Any other further questions? You okay with conditioning that way?
yeah, it's fine. I mean, you can't get a building permit without
Right.
compliance.
exactly.
Yeah, that's,
Everybody's all set?
yeah. Motion to close, madam?
We have a motion to close. Are you all set, sir?
I am all set, thank you.
We have a motion to close. I'll second. I'll beat you. I'll second it. All those in favor of closing? Aye. Opposed, none. All right, I'll need a motion.
Motion to approve with conditions.
I'll second. We have a motion to approve with conditions. Want to do findings?
Okay, we have a couple of additions to the facts. We did have public comment from Benjamin and Caitlin Trad, who are next-door neighbors. They have concerns about the project, and they both testified at the hearing. So under Section 240, 11.3A4, we are allowed in an RC district to approve 25% lot coverage by structure by special permit. The proposed lot coverage by structure will be 24.9%, which is within the 25% allowed by the zoning bylaw and special permit. Upon a determination that the size and height of the proposed structures will be relative in size to the size and height of the neighborhood structures. There's no negative impacts on shadows on adjacent property, no negative impacts on views and vistas from public ways. And we have difficulty, though. They're supposed to comply with all requirements for control nitrogen in coastal embayments, so we're going to have to condition that they meet all Board of Health regulations with respect to the septic system. Under Section 240, 12.1E, which is the general conditions for a special permit, we may grant a special permit provided that the proposed structure is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. We must find that the site is adequate for the proposed use, that it is suitable for the proposed use, that there's no negative impacts on traffic flow and safety, there's no negative impacts on the visual characteristics of the neighborhood, there are adequate utilities, there's adequate sewage disposal if they comply with all requirements of the Board of Health, and there's no negative impact on the supply of affordable housing, and may actually improve it.
Yeah, it will actually approve it, right? Okay, conditions. We have to word these properly.
Certified lot coverage and lot by structure and parking, paving, and structure.
Right, both.
Both.
As the applicant represented, no rental, family only. right?
Well,
Modify shall comply
we
with
can't say
the
family only, but it's,
He did.
ADU bylaw.
Just use that,
Yeah.
their verbiage. Okay.
yes.
Shall comply with town stormwater standards.
Yeah, and how do we do that? Because it may have to change because of the new paving? Just use it like that? Make it vague? Okay. And you have the Board of Health condition, Noreen? Okay. And then the regular ones? Well, you can't really do per plans because the plans are off. All boards.
Sure, as I was looking at the plans, it looked like the water service was coming from the house, but though, you know, they'll have to comply with whatever the water department wants.
Right, the water department said new water is needed for the ADU
Yeah.
when I read it.
Yeah, it's just when I was looking at the plan.
Oh, the plan itself shows it?
Seemed to appear as though the water service was going to come off of the existing house, which people used to do, but now, if you have a separate living structure, they want a separate
water line.
service for that, so.
Did you understand that? Okay.
Again, Madam Chairman, I will do exactly what,
Okay, perfect.
yeah, I will
Okay,
do that.
thank you. Any other conditions? Oh, hours of ops. Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, 8 to 4 on Saturdays, nothing on, no construction on Sundays or holidays. Vehicles must be located within the lot, not on the street. I don't think they'll need police detail. If you do need police detail, you'll have to get police detail. Any other conditions anyone can think
I've
of?
got one finding and a condition related to it.
Finding.
There was a referral from engineering that there is an encroachment of the fence and bushes into the Sandwich Road
Oh, yeah.
public roadway. The applicant must either obtain a license from the Board of Selectmen, and if unable to do so, will be responsible for removing all encroachments.
Perfect. Did we leave anyone? That was like the obvious one, and I left it right out.
You get working hours, right?
Yeah, I did working hours, yep. Anything else you can think of, Noreen? No further structures, did we do that? No further structures. I think that's it, right? Everybody all set? You guys all set? Think of anything? It's a lot of conditions, so
Yeah,
I hope we didn't leave one out.
I think we covered them.
Okay. All right, all those, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
None.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck. Thank you. And good luck to you guys, too. All right, moving on.
Taking our break.
Oh, yes, we'll take a 2-minute.
More than two.
All right, let's finish our agenda. Minutes? Are we doing them?
Yeah.
Is Mr. Kurker here for Benjamin Nye?
Minutes, we are tabling for this evening.
Okay, no minutes. Should we just finish up the other stuff before we do Habitat, you guys? Do you mind?
Why not?
Board discussion? I'll do the board discussion. Board workshop is May 2nd. And next meeting, Ash will bring us the sign-up sheet.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can send you an email.
okay, or email, whatever. Or that's under board updates, I guess. Zoning administrator? Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Save your energy.
Yeah, so we have 809 Sandwich Road and 0 Sandwich Road, the 240Bs that we had appealed the EOHLC decision that the town, they found that the town was not in safe harbor. We appealed that. They denied our appeal, so those hearings will be resuming. We will be posting notice in the newspaper and remailing to the abutters because that's been stayed since like November, I think. So it's been quite a while.
All right, and future agenda items, we're all set, so let's do draft decision.
So there have been a few slight modifications since the draft that was sent out. So to make it more identifiable, I tried to bold those within the new copy that you have. So they should be relatively easy to locate.
Yeah.
So I gotta get that out now. Okay, should I start now?
Is everybody all set? Everybody's got their copy? We're all ready to go here?
Okay, this is a case number 65 of the year 2025. The applicant is Habitat for Humanity of Cape Cod, Inc., 411 Main Street, Suite 6, Yarmouthport, Massachusetts. The owner of the property is LTC LLC, which is a limited liability company in East Falmouth, Massachusetts. The property is 48 Benjamin Nyes Lane, North Falmouth, Massachusetts, for a development proposed to be known as Hospitality Way. This is a comprehensive permit granted with conditions. I will read the procedural history, which is 6 paragraphs, and then we'll go on to the findings. Procedurally, on August 22, 2025, an application was filed with the Zoning Board of Appeals for a comprehensive permit for the construction of 14 single-family homes, all of which will be affordable at 48 Benjamin Nyes Lane, North Falmouth, Massachusetts. 2, notice was given as required by Mass General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 9, including notices mailed to all persons deemed to be affected thereby as they appear on the most recent tax list. 3, the advertised public hearing was opened on October 16, 2025, and continued to December 4, 2025, January 15, 2026, January 29, 2026, and March 12, 2026. Voting members included D. Scott Peterson, Suzanne Murphy, Mark Finneran, Frank K. Duffy, and Anthony P. Petrucci.
Can I interrupt?
Yep.
We have an absent D. Scott Peterson, and Nick has filled in and done the proper procedures to fill in as an associate.
So he'd be a voting member tonight.
Voting member tonight.
Okay. Warren Brody, attorney, 2 Salt Hay Road, East Falmouth, Massachusetts, appeared before the board on the application with Noreen Brown, Director of Land Acquisition, Habitat for Humanity of Cape Cod, and Joe Henderson, Horsley Witten Group, Inc., 90 Route 6A, Unit 1, Sandwich, Mass. The hearing was closed on March 12, 2026. Mr. Finneran made a motion to request the zoning administrator to draft an affirmative decision to be reviewed at the April 16, 2026 meeting, which was seconded by Mr. Peterson and unanimously voted. Minutes of the hearing are on file with the Zoning Board of Appeals. 6, the following documents and information are on file in the office of the Zoning Board of Appeals at Town Hall as set forth below. And then we enter into the section of the decision where we have listed emails, letters, and other information that we received, and referrals from town departments, referrals and letters from interested parties and other people, plans submitted by the applicant or applicant's representatives. I'm not going to read all of that information, but it is part of the record. The hearing, the notice of hearing and referrals were read into the record. The minutes of the hearing are available at the town clerk's office and are part of the record. Findings. 1, according to the last published subsidized housing inventory, known as the SHI, issued by the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, dated August 22, 2025, prior to the submission of this application, the town of Falmouth had 10.33% affordable housing. The town also has an approved housing production plan current through March 28, 2029. At the opening of the hearing on June 12, 2025, Mr. Duffy made a motion, which was seconded by Ms. Murphy and unanimously voted. I move that the Falmouth Zoning Board of Appeals has the grounds to declare that a denial or approval with conditions of the application is consistent with local needs as defined in General Laws, Chapter 40B, Sections 20 through 23, and 760 Code of Massachusetts Regulations, Section 56.031A and 3A, because the town's subsidized housing inventory exceeds 10%. And further, that under 760 CMR, that's Code of Massachusetts Regulations, Section 56.031B and 4, for municipal compliance with its approved housing production plan, and to provide the requisite 15-day written notice following tonight's hearing to the applicant and to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. 3, the board issued a letter to the applicant by email and certified mail on October 20, 2025, reiterating its stance that the town qualifies for safe harbor. This letter was provided in accordance with 760 CMR 56.03 Section 8 within 15 days of the opening of the local hearing, and included notification to the EOHL. There was no record of an appeal being filed. The Town of Falmouth's Massachusetts Housing Production Plan, known as the HPP, report dated March 2024, referenced the substantial gap between the cost of housing and what residents can afford. 5, the applicant has met the requirements to file for a comprehensive permit. The applicant has 1, control of the land, purchase and sale agreement dated January 18, 2024, with the 300 Committee, and an assignment to the agreement dated November 4, 2024, the 300 Committee and Habitat for Humanity. 2, the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities issued a letter dated May 13, 2025, identifying that the proposed project has received project eligibility under the Local Initiative Program, LIP. And 3, the applicant is a nonprofit organization. Paragraph 6, zoning board members attended a noticed site walk on October 10, 2025. 7, the subject site, 48 Benjamin Nye Lane, North Falmouth, Massachusetts, premises currently comprises approximately 55 acres and is sited in a single-family residence B zoning district. 7 1/2 acres, 13.5% of the 55.5 acres of the lot, will be purchased for the development by Habitat for Humanity of Cape Cod with a street frontage of 213.38 feet on Benjamin Nye Lane. Approximately 3.2 acres will be preserved open space and remain as a buffer surrounding the housing development. The 300 Committee of Falmouth will be permanently preserving the remaining adjacent 48 acres, 87% of the total site, which is undisturbed with native vegetation, including mapped habitat for eastern box turtles. The Massachusetts Division of Fisheries Wildlife will issue and oversee a management permit for the turtles. 8, the applicant submitted a Phase 1 environmental site assessment prepared by Streamline Environmental Services, LLC, 101 Jagat Road, East Falmouth, Mass. The site, 9, the subject site is located within Fiddler's Cove Coastal Pond Overlay District, a nitrogen-sensitive area, and is on a public right-of-way. The full 55.5 acre site includes a portion of of area within the 100 and 200-foot resource buffer, including potential vernal pool area, and is mapped as a NHESP, estimated habitat, and Mass Wildlife Corps habitat for eastern box turtles. There are small pockets of DEP, that's Department of Environmental Protection, wetlands. The premises is also in a high wind-borne debris region. Paragraph 10, the proposed 7.5-acre building site currently has a disturbed area with a barn, garage, and single-family dwelling, and is sited outside the 100-foot resource buffer. The structures on the site will be demolished to construct the housing development. Approximately 3.2 acres, lot 23, will remain as an open buffer space surrounding the proposed house lots. The applicant reported that the natural buffer area has been increased following meetings with the butters. There will also be 23,828 square feet, 23,828 square feet of open space in the center of the circle known as Lot 24. A representative from the 300 Committee Land Trust stated that the site appraisal identified that the best use for the property was a 110-unit condominium development. 12, the 14 homes proposed will be deed restricted and made affordable in perpetuity, with half of the residents earning 60% of the area median income, AMI, and the other half earning 80% AMI. The sales price will be determined prior to marketing. The town has requested, and the EOHL has approved, local preference to allow up to 70% of the homes to be awarded to Falmouth residents or people who are employed in the town or with children that attend Falmouth Public Schools. 13, construction is proposed in 2 phases. Phase 1 will be in the spring of 2027 and will consist of 8 homes, followed by the remaining 6 homes in the fall of 2028. Each home will have a basement, off-street parking, and utilize a shared, innovative, alternative IA septic system. There will be a managed homeowners association, HOA. The applicant reported that dwellings are typically meet or exceed the model for carbon-neutral homes. The dwellings will be all electric, solar panels are planned and are projected to have a HERS, H-E-R-S, rating of 0 or better, with no use of fossil fuels, and will be EV ready. All appliances will be Energy Star certified. 14, because Habitat selects families prior to construction, floor plans can be modified for any accessibility needs of the household. Families contribute 250 hours towards the construction of their home. The development includes 8 ranch-style homes, 5 Cape-style homes, and 1 colonial-style home. The exterior doors are 36 inches wide, bedroom and bathroom doors are 34 inches wide, and hallways are 42 inches to allow for accessibility. The deep insulation results in dwelling with the highest level of efficiency. Habitat has requested the ability to change the mix of home styles with no change to the bedroom count.
The board may want to consider that point. That was a recent request of theirs. What they're basically saying, I'm presuming, is that if they have a particular circumstance on one of the properties or a family setup, they may want a different style home on that lot. They hadn't specifically designated which lots were going to have which style homes, so they gave us a proposed mix. But what they're asking for is flexibility to make some change to those, and still maintain the same number of bedrooms. So they're not going to make any change to the septic. So the question would be whether you want them to essentially apply for an insubstantial change to swap one style home for the other.
And it's not really a finding. They never presented that at the hearing.
Right, they just said that they were expecting what their mix would be, but if they swap, one extra cape instead of a ranch or something, if that's a concern. of
So I don't
the
see
board.
how that can be in findings. It's not, we didn't, that was never in testimony.
Well, we care if the bedrooms
Didn't
are
they
the same.
show it on a,
They did show it, and they showed
They
styles.
showed, I think, their layout from another development. And when they presented this development, they did not identify which lots were going to have which style houses on them. They just gave us a total mix.
didn't they identify the colonial?
Yes.
I think they did. It was down by the driveway if I'm, like, close to Benjamin 9.
So I guess the question is, and they can just apply for an insubstantial change. So I just put that in there in bold
No,
for
it's
your
good to-
consideration.
May I say something, Madam Chair?
Yeah.
They have identified,
I thought they did. I thought I
it
saw
says
it on-
two-bedroom ranch, three-bedroom ranch.
Yep.
This has been identified on the plan. This is the findings, not what is now typed in.
Okay, so we can just,
5 minutes
I'll
to
just
come back.
cross that off, and if
true.
they need to make a change, they can come back and ask for it.
So we'll just do insubstantial change
I
on
would
that?
not,
I'm just going to cross off the bold language.
Madam Chair, I think we can talk about it, but this is not an insubstantial change. This is what they have proposed to do. This is what we considered. I'm not saying that you wouldn't make the change, but I think it needs to be a substantial, I don't know what the definition, I always forget what's
Well,
the,
that's, the
yeah.
definition of
Wouldn't be
substantial
substantial,
change
no.
is if they added more than 10%
Yeah.
more houses, not if you make a change to a
This is going to be a
single
roof
house.
line or something.
so,
Bedrooms are gonna stay the same,
The same number of
essentially.
It's a
bedrooms.
roof line thing,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So basically, what they're saying is if they're showing you it's going to be a two-bedroom dwelling, do you have a concern if they swap off one style of home for another?
okay, let me say, we considered it, it says three-bedroom Cape, four-bedroom colonial. I know as one member, that was important to me, that mix. And what I would not want to see is what they did on another location, where they were all the same thing.
Yeah. So insubstantial
we
change could take care of that.
Strike that language. I just put it in there because it was raised.
So just strike it.
Yeah, I would strike it.
Yep, that's
Okay.
fine. And they can just come back and request change.
We don't even need to vote on that. We're just striking it. Just striking it.
Never happened.
Yeah.
And just as an update as well, I didn't want to interrupt when Frank was on a roll, but for the assessor map, the lot is actually 007, and I had it listed as 004. So I will obviously correct that.
That's at the beginning?
Yes, on the
Okay.
first page.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And they're also under the findings, number 2, at the opening of the hearing. I had it listed as June 12th, but it was actually October 16th, so I've got that correction as well. All right. Thank you.
What page are you on there?
That one was on page 5. At the opening of the hearing, October 16, 2025.
Yes. Number 2.
Number 2.
Yep.
Oh, and so it,
It's October 16, 2025. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. You want me to go for a while?
I can go for a little bit
Okay.
longer. I just want to keep track of these changes
I
so we
think we're on
can.
15 now.
Yes, we are on 15. The access to the development will be via a 22-foot wide private road running from Benjamin Nye Lane and terminating in a circle around which the housing lots are set. The applicant understands that the town will not take the road in the future, as sewer connections from individual dwellings run under the roadway to the shared septic system. A portion of the existing westerly stone wall at the entrance to the development at Benjamin Nye Lane will be removed and/or relocated to provide for sufficient egress width. The site distances to the east and west on Benjamin Nye Lane are sufficient. Town will not provide curbside trash or recycling pickup, nor will it provide snow and ice removal services due to the private road access. Trash and snow removal will remain private. The town will not anticipate taking the road in the future due to private sewer lines running under the road. The applicant submitted a memorandum prepared by Jeffrey S. Dirk, managing partner of Anas Associates, who conducted that the additional vehicle trips with the development will not result in a significant impact or increase of motor vehicle delays or vehicle queuing over existing conditions, end quote. Mr. Dirk included recommendations on site access. 18, the subdivision plan will create 14 single-family house lots, a lot in the center of the circle for the shared septic system, and the perimeter open space lot. 19, the center of the circle will contain the shared IA septic system. The area comprises approximately 23,828 square feet, which will be a common area within the HOA. 20, the applicant proposes to install a nitrix shared septic system to reduce nitrogen where the premises is sited in a nitrogen-sensitive area. The nitric system is anticipated to treat down to 5 milligrams per liter and will be sited in the center open space area of the circle. There will be 4 two-bedroom dwellings, 9 three-bedroom dwellings, and 1 four-bedroom dwellings, for a total of 39 bedrooms. The applicant also created an area for a connection to the 300 committee trail between lots 5 and 6. 22, individual house lots are expected to range in size from 8,050 square feet to 10,114 square feet. The minimum lot size for the district is now 40,000 square feet. The applicant has requested a waiver from the minimum lot size requirement. 23, the street frontage for the individual lots are expected to range from approximately 50.2 feet to 160.8 feet. The minimum street frontage for a lot in the district is currently 100 feet. The applicant has requested a waiver from the requirement of the applicable lots. 24, bounds are proposed at lot corners for the residential lots as shown on the subdivision plan. A waiver is requested related to some points of tangency or curvature of the road where rebar is expected to be utilized. 25, the applicant proposes the ranch-style dwellings to be sited on lots 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 13, and 14. The applicant proposes the Cape-style dwellings on lots 4, 5, 9, 11, and 12, and the applicant proposes the colonial-style dwelling on lot 10. 26, dwellings are proposed to range in height from 17 feet 8 5/8 inches, the ranch, to 21 feet 4 1/2 inches, the Cape, to 26 feet 7 1/2 inches, the colonial. The bylaw permits heights up to 35 feet. 27, 6 dwellings are shown with rear decks, lots 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All lots are shown with an 8-foot by 10-foot shed under 100 square feet, sited approximate to the end of the individual driveways. 28, the premises are not currently served by town water. The existing well on site will be abandoned. The applicant has identified that they will be extending the existing water main from the Cameron Road area to the development and beyond, installing 1 hydrant on Benjamin Nye Lane and 1 within the development. The applicant reported an adequate hydrant flow test. Habitat identified a grant opportunity with the state that may assist with the cost related to extending the main, including a possible additional main extension to, and isn't that Wild Harbor Road?
Wild Harbor Road, it should be.
Yeah, Wild Harbor Road.
Habitat offered to assist the town with the grant application. So I'll make a note, that's paragraph 28. The town's water superintendent anticipated that the town would seek to extend the water main from 48 Benjamin Nye Lane to Wild Harbor Road at some point in time.
Want me to go for a while? I'll go for a while.
All right, go ahead.
29, the topography ranges from a low of 13 feet towards the northerly area to a high point of 44 feet in the westerly area of the lot. 30, some stormwater runoff will run off into a depression at the northerly area. In parentheses, an existing topographic low point, unparentheses, or managed through rain gardens. The development is designed to meet the 100-year stormwater event. The site has sandy soils conducive for infiltration. Groundwater flow is based on contours from the Cape Cod Commission. 31, Habitat will incorporate native, easy-care, drought-tolerant plants and transition plantings between the woodland areas. The applicant has identified specimen trees on the site plan and will save as many trees as possible. 32, snow storage is proposed along the street frontage of the lots. 33, the lighting for the development is proposed to be 14 6-foot pole lights with one positioned at each dwelling, plus 2 pole lights spaced between Benjamin Nye Lane and the new houses, to be illuminated automatically from dusk to dawn and to be maintained by the HOA. If anyone has a hold, speak right up, too, by the way. 34, as required by the bylaw, 2 parking spaces are shown on each lot. Some driveways may provide space for additional vehicles. An 18-inch gravel strip to the side of the driveway is proposed to allow side-by-side parking. Where there is no guest parking created and the private road width is narrow, the board requested installation of a geogrid or a similar pervious paver material to be installed along the curve of the circle to provide supported parking for visiting vehicles to pull off parallel to the traveled way without causing rutting. 35, a common mailbox is proposed for the development and also includes a proximate pull-off area for vehicles. 36, the applicant reported that Habitat for Humanity of Cape Cod has been identified as a lottery agent and will perform annual monitoring with Housing Assistance Corporation, monitoring any resales. 37, the Cape Cod Commission issued a letter dated September 11, 2024, noting that the proposed development received a Development of Regional Impact DRI exemption. 38, Michael Renshaw, the town manager, issued a letter dated February 4th, 2025, to the Affordable Housing Committee recommending endorsement of a local initiative petition, a LIP, application for 48 Benjamin Nye Lane. 39, the Falmouth Select Board issued a letter March 26, 2025, to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities supporting the LIP application for Habitat of 48 Benjamin Nye Lane. 40, the Select Board approved $250,000 for acquisition and $1.25 million for early construction costs per the applicant. 41, the Town Transportation Department issued an email dated December 3rd, 2025, noting that the school bus pickup is at Benjamin Nye and Old Main. 42, the Planning Board issued an A&R approval dated November 19th, 2024. 43, the Building Commissioner's 8/28/25 referral related to the A&R plan by the Planning Board. 44, 43 feels it's not worded correctly. The Building Commissioner's referral dated 8/28/25 related to the A&R plan by the Planning Board. Okay. 44, sorry, it just felt wrong to me. 44, the Falmouth Affordable Housing Committee issued a letter dated February 15, 2025, strongly supporting the project. 45, the Falmouth Fire Department, by email dated October 10, 2025, has approved the turning radius for the fire apparatus access and reported fire hydrant coverage is adequate. 46, the water superintendent reported that the water main needs to be extended from its current location with an 8-inch DICL. Each home must have its own 1-inch PE water service with a curb shut-off valve located outside of the driveway layout, maintaining 10 feet of separation from the septic system. Each water meter needs to be installed inside the home and not in a crawl space. The water main installation needs to be inspected by the water department from beginning to end, so the applicant is advised to coordinate in a timely manner to allow the water department to fit this project into their schedule. The applicant should go to the DPW and fill out 14 service applications and provide copies of site utility plans showing the location of the water main and water service to each home. 47, town engineers, September 22, 2025 referral, reviewed topics including stormwater review, water, parking, access, grading, drainage, and general items. 48, the health agent issued an email dated October 16, 2025, reporting that the advanced nitrogen removal system proposed is on the state's best available technology list. 49, the planning board did not issue any comments. 50, the Conservation Commission did not issue any comments. 51, the Housing Coordinator issued a letter dated September 12, 2025, noting that all 14 dwellings will be deed restricted and be at or below 80% AMI and will be eligible for inclusion in the town's SHI, the town's subsidized housing inventory, fulfilling a town need. 52, abutter concerns included sufficient space to maintain the wildlife corridor. That's one bullet point. Another one is having Benjamin Nye Lane preserved for walkers and cyclists. Next bullet is not losing the rural feel with trees right up to the edge of the road providing shade. Next is limiting throughway traffic impact. Size of development and density. The possibility to develop duplexes or triplexes instead. Another one is whether there would be any fencing, whether any of the existing structure could be salvaged. And the last one is well water on neighboring lots and direction of groundwater flow and a request for a test well. 53, following concerns expressed by an abutter about potential impact to local well water, both the Board of Health agent and the town engineering reported that the Title V separation distance from the leaching field to any private well is 100 feet, and this is per Mass DEP, and that there are no wells within that setback. Board noted that no study was provided demonstrating facts to support concerns relating to the groundwater flow and well water impacts. 54, the board engaged Beals and Thomas for peer engineering review. Shall we vote on the findings now?
So, Madam, I will make a motion that the board adopt findings 1 through 54 with the noted changes to paragraph 2, the deletion of the proposed language in paragraph 14, and the noted changes in paragraph 28 as as presented at the hearing.
Second.
Everybody else set? We got them all, Noreen? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, decision.
No. No.
No.
Procedural matter.
No.
Well, what is it?
Madam Chair, you have to decide.
Let's at least hear it, if that's okay.
He came all the way to say something.
Let's hear it.
Say it.
Yes, thank you very much. I see a procedural problem here. This hearing closed on March 12th, 2026. There was never a waiver requested prior to the close of the hearing with respect to waiver 10.5, which is a request, it's a decision to waive the provisions of 305.14, an environmental impact statement, which described the submission of an environmental and economic impact statement. I was here at the board Tuesday and got a draft of the decision, and this waiver 10.5 was not in it. And I see tonight that waiver 10.5, new language, asking you to grant a waiver for those provisions. But I don't believe the applicant ever requested that, either prior to March 12, 2026, when the hearing closed, or since that time. And my client, Mr. Lintner, it was his objections that are referred to here in paragraph 53 about the impact on neighboring wells. And the whole purpose of, and The paragraph states, "The board noted no study was provided demonstrating facts to support concerns relating to groundwater." The applicant, that burden was not on the applicant. That burden was not on my client. The applicant, under the subdivision regulations, is supposed to present you with an environmental impact statement. So now we come to tonight, and this provision that waives that is being requested, and you're being asked to vote on it, and I think it's improper procedure for it to appear and be the subject of a vote tonight, because I don't think this was presented or requested while the hearing was still open. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just proceed?
It's totally up to you. I guess my reply to that would be that I prepared a draft, and I submitted the draft including to Habitat, and there were some corrections that they provided or questions they provided to me. And when they reviewed the waivers, what they said was that they had included that on plans. So I did include that here. It's certainly up to the board how you want to act on that or not. I know that the topics were raised during the hearings. I did not go back and review each plan to see where it may have been written on a plan.
Do you have the verbiage of the waiver?
Yes, it's, the waivers come up later on in your
Oh,
decision.
okay,
It's
that's
on
right.
page 21.
Yeah.
But, so what Mr. Kurker is saying is that his client requested that the board require an environmental impact statement. We don't have anything from the applicant, but the board on its own is determining that it has the authority to waive that requirement. It was discussed. I mean, we talked about it.
Yeah.
It was not that this...
At length.
We talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But did they ask to waive it?
Well, I think at least somewhere in the findings, there should be a statement, because we do have a finding that among the,
Yeah, that it's no
example-
well within 100 feet.
well, if we look at the findings, Suzanne just read them.
It was number 53, I
Well
think?
water on neighboring lot in direction of groundwater. Perhaps that paragraph, or that bullet should be expanded to note that Mr. Lintner appeared and requested an environmental impact statement, and the board discussed it.
Okay. And let's find out what number that was, where we
That's on
were.
page 11,
Page 11?
paragraph 52, the last bullet point.
Okay.
So you want to add a statement at the end that includes the abutter who discussed that?
I would identify him, say that he appeared and he was concerned about the direction of groundwater and requested an environmental impact or he requested a study of groundwater flow, and I think he may have requested an environmental impact statement.
It's kind of in 53.
Yeah, it's 53.
That the board discussed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a matter of public discussion.
But we should probably put in there that the board also noted that the well in question was more than twice the distance.
That's already in there.
Yeah.
It's the 100 feet
And the,
separation is 100
So
feet.
just leave the rest?
Yeah, that's okay.
Can I just, point of interest, if it's
Yeah, go
not
ahead,
in the
Tony.
waivers requested, how can we even put it here?
What?
If it's not I guess I'm a little confused. If they didn't request the waiver, why would we put it in here?
what are you going to
we
waive if
discussed
it's
it
over
and
the
felt
100?
it wasn't needed.
Yeah, what are you
So
going
they
to
asked it
waive?
during the hearing, is what you're saying?
The gentleman asked it.
Yeah, but what are you going to waive if it's over the 100 feet?
Well, no, the 100 feet the environmental impact statement applies
just
to
an
more
that can-
than just a
right.
100-foot separation. It
That's
applies
just
to a whole
yeah.
bunch of things.
But the board did discuss an environmental impact statement and decided it wasn't needed.
Yes.
That's
And then
what
the
I'm,
engineer gave us his review on the direction of the flow as well.
They didn't discuss an environmental impact statement. We were asking for some testing to take place, and Habitat declined to do it, and you folks said, we're not going to order them to do it. But the question of a waiver of the environmental impact statement, to my recollection, was not discussed. It wasn't requested, and it wasn't discussed. Because the environmental impact statement goes further than the regulation about 100 feet and how far the well is. It talks about the impact on wells within and outside of the subdivision. So I just want to be clear that it wasn't, environmental impact study was not discussed.
So, Madam Chair, if we had an abutter who brought it up, the board said, we're not going to consider that, but it's not really a waiver if they didn't ask for the waiver. Are we waiving it? Are we making this up as we go?
No. Who put in 10.5? You did?
So I had a reply from Habitat when they looked at the draft, and they indicated that they had asked for the waivers and it was on plans.
Oh, it's just on the plan,
I did
right?
not go digging through
Oh, it's not in the
to
booklet.
verify if something was somewhere. I assumed I had just missed it.
It's not in the book that they presented.
The waiver.
I don't know.
Well, I have it right here.
Yeah. No, she said it was on a plan, like a hard plan. Do you have yours over there?
I do not have that one.
It's got to be down here. Do you want me to get it out and try to notify, to find it?
I mean, I think we should get it right.
Is it right here, Frank?
Is that the way to properly ask for a waiver, is put it on a
Watch
plan
out for
somewhere?
the back.
Is that even
Well,
valid way to?
they're allowed to verbally request waivers as well. I mean, they originally, when they submit in filing, they would ask what their original waiver request was. And then as the hearings go, if there's something additional that they would want waived, they're eligible to ask for that.
No, they,
And I know we did have discussion about
yeah,
it.
definitely. And they said, someone told you it's on the plan.
I think that was the
Engineer.
reference.
So here's waiver requests
Oh, that were
that are on
posted.
plans, so
God, where am I going to even find it?
lot dimension
When are we
waivers,
going to
waiver
our
list.
next meeting?
Yeah, that's what's in the booklet, too.
The 30th, I think? It's this month.
I guess, I mean, I don't know,
maybe
it's probably a horrible.
Do you want to just continue it?
Continue it and conditionally approve it subject to verification, and then vote, have the final
Okay.
vote on the 30th.
And we could go through,
Can we go through all of these tonight, vote everything except conditionally vote the one on the environmental impact, subject to verification, and then have our final vote on next meeting?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
fine.
Because we
That way
can't
we're
be
cleaning it.
looking through
Yeah.
everything tonight.
Yeah, we can just effectively continue it for the final
Yeah.
vote.
But we'll go through every
we'll keep going,
paragraph.
finish, and then come back to this.
That's
All
fine.
right.
Is that doable?
That's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Did you hear all that?
Now, I'd be curious what, I heard the word verification, verifying what?
We're going to go through the plans and check all our meetings, and you said it wasn't discussed at all. I thought we did discuss it. So
We
we're,
discussed the whole concept of possibly my client's well being polluted.
I thought we did impact myself, too, but
No, I don't
we're going to
believe so.
verify.
So are we going to, it's not so much the discussion, but you're going to verify that they, in fact, they asked for a waiver before the hearing closed.
Okay, we're going to do that.
We want to
Thank
get
you.
it correct.
Yep, we want it done right. All right, so where were we? At the
So
decision?
We're going to skip over the be it resolved and start with general conditions G1.
Okay. G1, where this comprehensive permit is made specifically under Mass General Law, Chapter 40B, Section 20 through 23, allowing the override of local zoning parentheses, density, there shall be no as-of-right changes made to the subject property. Any changes requested shall be properly submitted to the Zoning Board of Appeals and provided for under Mass General Law, Chapter 40B and 760, Mass General Law 56, 76056.
Skip over this stuff.
G2, the construction shall be substantially as shown on the plan submitted and reviewed by the board as follows. I'm not going to read all those. Okay?
Go down to G3.
And then a bullet point subdivision plan, bullet point basement. G3, all stormwater from the premises shall be directed to recharge on the premises. The stormwater system shall be operated and maintained privately. G4, drainage structures shall be constructed in accordance with the plans. Soil shall be confirmed prior to installation of stormwater infiltration structures. For the main, stormwater outfall and a head wall shall be installed to manage stormwater discharges. Maintenance and preservation of drainage structures shall be the responsibility of the homeowners. The subdivision plan shall show all proposed drainage easements. G5, the access road is private and will remain so. The town will not provide trash, recycling services, or snow removal. Any portion of the stone wall to be relocated shall be shown on a plan and reviewed by the peer engineer. G6, the applicant shall install a geogrid or a similar pervious paver material along the curve of the circle to provide supported parking for visiting vehicles to pull off parallel to the traveled way without causing rutting on lots or blocking the road. This will ensure that visitor vehicles do not block any emergency vehicle access. G7, parking or storage of any unregistered vehicle or boat on the premises is strictly prohibited. This shall be included in the homeowner documents. Parking for a minimum of 2 vehicles shall be provided fully within each lot.
I have a hold on that?
Hold on G7. Do you want to just do it right now?
It's up to you.
Yeah, go for it.
So it talks about homeowner documents. I don't know what homeowner documents are. Are they trust documents, HOA?
HOA, it should
HOA
probably
bylaws?
say HOA.
Yeah.
HOA documents. I was thinking the same thing, good point. We all set with that one? We're switching that one to HOA documents,
Yep,
okay?
okay.
G8, the applicant shall install a pull-off area for vehicles to access the mail kiosks south of the intersection with Benjamin Nye Lane. The mail kiosks shall be illuminated from dusk to dawn as it is sited between 2 proposed pole lights. I have a question on this area. Didn't we have a pull-off for the bus? Are we using the map?
Now the bus is on
We're using-
road.
Bus goes up to the intersection.
No, but I mean for the parents sitting there waiting for the
No,
kids.
it's on Old Main Road.
It's on
Okay.
Old Main Road.
All right. I thought we had mentioned, I thought I had brought it
You
up.
did.
Yeah, we did, but then
Okay.
they
The
said
bus
it
doesn't
was-
stop there.
Okay.
doesn't go down that road.
So G8, I just did that one right? No, I didn't.
Gotta go
Yeah, I did. I
start with
did G9. Did I do G8?
Yes.
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
G9. Any deviation, no matter how minor, from plans submitted and approved shall be submitted to the Zoning Board of Appeals for approval prior to implementation of said change. The zoning administrator may make a determination as to whether the changes are minor in nature and can be approved administratively, or whether they will require a public meeting regarding an amendment. Changes made prior to approval shall be subject to a full hearing and are at risk of the Zoning Board of Appeals may deny the request, subjecting any unapproved construction to be ordered undone.
I have a hold on this?
Go ahead and take it up now.
This is of concern and up to the board, but their request to mix or remix the houses, not without changing the bedrooms, which we just heard would become under an insubstantial change. It could go either way. I don't understand how you can present a set of plans very specific to housing design and the mix of that design. And even though they're not changing the bedrooms count, they want to change, I want to make sure I'm clear, they want to change maybe where the colonial house was and make that a cape. Maybe the cape house goes where the colonial house is. I think I just said that, or where the ranch goes. I'm uncomfortable with, because we were presented with very specific plans, This is basically saying that, and now we're saying, well, look, if you want to change it, just go see the zoning administrator, and it's an insubstantial change.
No.
But how does it, but how would that be more than 10%?
I'm really struggling with that. I don't
But the
know.
problem is that in a 40B, the plans are not definitive plans.
Yeah.
They're only proposed plans.
Yeah.
So that's all we can approve.
You don't get a real plan in
We don't get a
40B.
real plan.
It's not in stone.
I am out of words on that matter, so
Yeah, it's.
I guess that's it.
It's not a good
Fine, I
thing, but
can't-
that's the
yeah,
way
I
the
can't
world
say anything.
is.
Yes.
Do you have any comment on that at all?
No, I was just going to say that, there are periodically very minor things that developers come in with.
Yeah.
But, typically with something like the change for houses, they can come back and present to you, and then you as the board would determine, is it an insubstantial change or substantial? And the state's very clear about what they consider to be substantial or not, and they direct you that if it doesn't fall under what they consider to be a substantial change, so for example, if you switch a two-bedroom house with a two-bedroom cape, the state will tell you that's not a substantial change.
Right.
So if you find that it's not a substantial change, as of that finding, they're approved to make that change. So the only thing that actually comes before the board for a vote is whether something's insubstantial or substantial, and only if you determine that it's substantial, that you would then have a hearing. So
But we can have say in an insubstantial change.
all you can
We
say,
can like beg.
Or you can
not
beg.
really.
Yeah, I mean, no, but
Not really.
we can at least converse. Like if Tony really wants a cape instead of a ranch, we can at least express that
Sure.
at a meeting.
But we're not going to get it.
We might,
Well, I
we
mean,
might.
they could appeal it.
What they can say, yeah, but you have to make a finding that the issue, the subject, is substantial or insubstantial. And as soon as you say that the subject is insubstantial, you are approving it. It's done.
So basically,
They came back with a request for 3 more bedrooms. It's a 39-bedroom thing. That's under 3.9, so I mean, I don't see where they're going to hit the 10% with your concerns.
Tony wants it to be very diverse. He's worried that they're going to line up, I'm just taking words
well,
out
I
of
mean,
your-
they sold, the
lineups.
reason the plans were
Right.
presented the way they were was to sell us on the idea
Of diversity.
of
like-
diversity
right.
of style. And now they want, and I understand why they do, because you might have a family that says, I really don't want that colonial there.
Yeah.
I want this ranch over here.
Yeah.
I get that, but they sold this, they should have presented it that way from the very beginning. However, I understand what Noreen is saying. If it's an
Yeah.
insubstantial change, again, it's 40B, we can't fight it. I don't know a way around it, so I have to quit on that.
I think if it, when we do decide if it's substantial, which we're going to say insubstantial, if it's a roof change or whatever, or that we can express that we're concerned about the diversity.
Well,
And I
then
think
make
that's about
everything
all
come
we can
back.
do.
Then take the zoning administrator, make a determination, make everything come back here. If that's the only way you're going to work that out.
Yeah, we could do it that way. But that might mean, this means everything.
Right.
This means if they don't like the faucet next to the front door and they want it near the back door, it's not just house changing. This is everything. It's still kind of, you know what I mean? Am I calling it right here?
Yeah.
This
Well,
is like,
think
I don't
it's-
want a
at some
blue
point in
shutter.
time,
you know?
you get into certain amount of minutia where, for example, do you really want to see absolutely everything?
You could put a statement in there, Tony, that if there's any change to the kind of dwelling, like if it's a ranch or a cape or a,
Any change in style, for instance, any change in housing, design, and
Yeah.
style as presented during the
Shall
hearing
come back to the
shall come
board.
back to the board.
yeah, that,
And then
yeah.
we can all say it's a substantial and substantial
Yeah.
change. Noreen's going to direct us that way
They're not
anyway.
required to submit
No.
complete plans, so how can you do that?
Well, then why don't they just leave a blank plan then?
No, but this will come when they're further
That would be
along.
incomplete.
I think that's good to do it that way.
That's fine.
Oh.
I mean, it keeps the public informed as well.
But what we have done in the past is that you have brought before us any requests for, or most requests for changes, and let us decide whether it's substantial or insubstantial.
Yep.
And I think that's what we should continue.
I think we should do that.
So take that sentence out of the,
And see, you're recommending, instead of,
just take out the zoning administrator shall make a determination
well, no,
with the board.
can make a recommendation as to whether or not the
The
changes
zoning
are...
can make a recommendation to the board as to whether the changes, or something like that?
Yeah.
Does that sound
I think
okay?
you know what we want to say.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Shall I read it aloud, the new one? Or Noreen, why don't you read the new one? 9, G9.
Yeah, okay, so you
Just so we
have
can-
any deviation, no matter how minor, from plans submitted and approved shall be submitted to the zoning board of appeals for approval prior to implementation of said change. The zoning administrator may make a recommendation to the board as to whether the changes are minor in nature and can be approved administratively, or whether they will require a public meeting regarding an amendment.
Okay,
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
that covers it.
Yeah.
all right,
Is that okay?
That's good.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. All right, 9 were gone by. 10, this comprehensive permit shall be a master permit which shall subsume all local permits and approvals normally issued by local boards, other than as specifically enumerated in a condition. The Board of Health and Conservation Commission are excluded from this provision. G11, this permit shall not take effect until a copy of the decision bearing certification of the town clerk that 20 days has elapsed after the decision has been filed in the office of the town clerk with no appeal being filed, is recorded in the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds, or that an appeal has been filed within such time. In parentheses, any person exercising rights under a duly appealed comprehensive permit does so at risk that a court may reverse the permit, and that any construction performed under the permit may be ordered undone, parentheses done. G12, this permit shall lapse 3 years from the date on which this decision is filed with the town clerk's office, if a substantial use of the comprehensive permit has not sooner commenced, except for good cause, as determined by the Zoning Board of Appeals. G13, the comprehensive permit shall not be transferred without express written approval of the Zoning Board of Appeals in accordance with 760 CMR 56. G14, each condition in this decision shall run with the land and shall, in accordance with its terms, be applicable to and binding on the applicant and the applicant's successors and assigns. G15, construction hours shall be limited to 7 a.m., 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. Saturday hours shall be limited to 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. No Sunday or town-observed holiday hours absent an emergency. In bold, Habitat has requested that holidays be removed from the prohibition to allow for families to assist on their days off.
So that's, subject to the board's discussion, obviously.
You might want to explain that the people have to, I don't know if everyone, Nick might not know that these people have to assist.
Yeah, I think.
250 hours.
250 hours. And this,
Their rationale was that these folks are working full-time.
They can ill afford to take time
In
off.
order to be able to put in the hours that are required, they're going to have to do that on weekends or holidays that they're not working. So
nobody around to disturb
Habitat
anyway,
has
so.
asked if the board would consider removing holidays from the prohibition. There's another possibility that you could consider, which is that if the shell of the house is done, that they'd be eligible to do, for example, interior work.
Who are they going to disturb out there?
That would not have a detrimental impact.
Nobody to disturb.
And nobody to disturb.
Right.
Well, you just don't want a cement truck coming in on Christmas morning or something like that.
Yeah, but that's not what
What
they're
the zoning
asking.
administrator is, I'm sorry, what Noreen has just said, that works because they're inside.
Right.
I mean, our concern is disturbing a community with the people.
Right.
So
It's not
I
done.
like the idea of saying, once all work within the building,
Yeah.
once enclosed, once weather tight, they can work on holidays.
What,
Is that in here, the time?
No, but, I just put this in there because they asked, but,
So let's tighten it up and make it so when there is.
why do we want to limit them or tighten it up when they're out in the middle of nowhere? Who are they going to bother?
It's a precedent-setting situation. I understand why they want to do it. But we have to consider an entire community, not just a few people.
I mean, we could look at this more of a case-by-case basis, and, I mean,
We do have
we're
to.
not going to
We
disturb
do
anything.
have, I think we have to point out in this that these people, like in normal 40Bs, Joe Blow doesn't go and hammer his room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These people.
we did include in
It's
the
already a
findings
finding.
that they
It's
have to
finding.
It's
put
in the finding,
in
okay.
It's in the finding, they could do
250
250 hours.
Okay.
I mean, you can't.
So Habitat has requested that holidays be removed from this prohibition for interior work.
Yeah. Let's do it that way.
Yeah.
To allow for families and finish it right off, yeah.
For
That's good.
interior work, all right.
Yeah.
Specify interior.
Yeah. That's fair to the neighbors.
I think that puts,
And that way there won't be a lot of equipment or trucks or,
yeah, but
yeah.
these are people working, it's not other workers. It's just the people that are putting in their sweat equity. I mean, I don't think limiting them in any fashion is right.
Well, I just think we have to be
They're not
careful
going to
for
bring a
the next
cement truck in
40B.
with them, or, you know,
No, but I mean, we
come
just
on.
have to be
Give these
careful of the
people a
next
break.
40B coming down the
Yeah, but
road.
this is this one. We'll deal with this. This is,
All right.
this isn't the next 40B. This is Benjamin Nye's Road. I don't see how they're going to disturb anybody.
I don't see how
It's a habitat
keeping
project.
it inside is going to mess
It's hard
with them.
enough for somebody to get 250 hours. They're
I
probably working
guarantee
two
you,
jobs.
if you do not restrict this, you're going to have an attorney say, look, you didn't restrict it here, why are you restricting us? This is a 40B, they'll pick up on everything.
Well,
Oh, because it was for sweat equity, and
No.
they're not doing it on the next 40B. I mean, there's a definite demarcation or whatever, but
Not that it's on this.
one exception does not a precedent make.
yeah.
No.
If we make several exceptions in a row, then we're setting precedent, but one is not.
I still think we have to put in this G15 somewhere that these people that are going to live there have to work in these dwellings. Even though it's already in the findings, it should be in there somewhere, so
Well,
that it's cohesive. You know what I mean?
Doesn't this say it? Oh, well, we have to say what they were, you know, and we allowed their request.
What do you think? Do you think we don't have to bother to put it in there?
I think this 40B is very different than many
It
of the
is.
others.
It's the best one we have.
Ever had.
No, but you've had many 40Bs where the new house is 10 feet from the lot line.
Yeah.
So are they going to bother an abutter if they're there on Patriots' Day? Sure, because there's somebody next door. Here, you don't have immediate abutters.
And we agree, and we increased the buffer.
They're not
I mean,
enforceable.
But
I think
as
limiting
is
these people is
pointed
wrong.
out,
I would just eliminate the whole sentence. They're going to work on a holiday anyway. There's no one in town that's going to enforce it on a holiday. Well, no, they're not going to. No one's there on a holiday in town hall.
well, if somebody calls, I mean, I don't see why Habitat has requested and the board allowed.
I would eliminate the sentence altogether.
The whole bold
Let's
sentence?
get rid of it. They're going to work. They're going to work.
And it opens the door for somebody to, if they wanted to, man, I don't know.
They want to complain, they can complain.
Well, it's a tough one, huh? I'm having a tough time with it.
I think you
it
just,
sounds like there was some consensus for the possibility of interior.
Yeah,
So maybe you
definitely.
just
yeah,
express.
for interior, that's fine.
Maybe if everybody's agreeable, then you would express that they can do interior work.
Yeah, once the house is weather-tight,
I think they do interior work anyways. They're not on the roofing and shingling and all this other stuff.
I'm not for limiting them in any way.
eliminate
I
the
think it's right.
sentence.
These people are putting sweat equity into it and working their regular jobs.
So you want that sentence removed too? And you do too?
I want the sentence removed.
I mean, I'll go with it if you want to do 3-2 or whatever it's going to be, and just take it right out. I can do that.
I move that the sentence beginning Habitat as requested be removed.
No bold. The bold is gone.
Just remove.
I'll second. Everybody's up for taking the bold? All those for taking out the bold?
Aye.
Okay.
Against?
Against.
Okay.
No, we just took it out, Mark. Be nice.
Yeah, I'm against.
All right, G16, we're moving on. Oh, wait, I have to finish reading that. All construction vehicles shall remain strictly on the subject property and not park on abutting streets. Construction vehicles are prohibited from idling on or near the premises outside of construction hours. During construction, efforts shall be undertaken to minimize impacts on abutters, including securing dumpsters, stabilizing soil, to guard against erosion from a rain event, and ensuring that public roadways are kept clean. G16, the development shall be limited to a maximum of 14 single-family dwellings with a total maximum of 39 bedrooms. 14 dwellings shall remain in perpetuity, affordable to eligible purchasers whose annual income shall not exceed 80% of the area median income as determined by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. The 14 affordable dwellings shall remain eligible for inclusion in the town's SHI, maintained by the EOHL. Basement space may not be used as bedroom space, nor may any other rooms be converted to bedroom space. Any increase in the number of bedrooms is a violation of the zoning bylaw and this comprehensive permit.
We have a question on this G16. Noreen, you only mentioned the 80% of AMI. What about the 60%?
Okay, so
That's the
as
exceed
is
right there, right?
typical with the state, nothing is clear or perfect.
Legit.
So the way this works is that Habitat on initial sale is selling half of the dwellings at 60% AMI or less, and half at 80% AMI or less.
Right.
But I have confirmed that the EOHLC, in their wisdom, if a 60% AMI house goes up for sale, EOHLC only requires that it be sold to somebody at 80% or less. So that comes from the EOHLC.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
because of that, I had previously said that, if you had a 60% AMI house, that you would then sell it to another person at 60% AMI. But the state does not require it that way. The state requires 80% or less. So this was adapted to conform to the EOHLC.
Okay.
So that being said, hopefully Habitat, their mission is to help people that can't afford these, that they would hopefully continue to resell to those people that need them.
So even though the income shall not exceed 80, they can sell to somebody with less.
Right.
Everybody okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, everybody? All right, G17, the maximum height of the dwelling shall not exceed 27 feet.
I got a hold on that. Why is it, just to explain it to him, why is it, bylaw allows 35 feet? Why are we restricted to 27?
All right, so I will explain. So Habitat has described to you that I believe the tallest house was 26 feet something. So the idea was that by granting them a maximum height of 27, you are holding them to the plan that
Yeah.
they showed you.
Yep.
It is correct that they can build up to 35, but that's not what they told the board.
Yeah.
So
No,
my
that's good.
premise is that if you tell them 35,
They'll do it.
you could potentially have a house that's not what they showed you.
But that contradicts the whole thing about changing
Yeah.
plan style, housing styles.
Right. So, it's up to you if you want to say.
Maybe you should put something about the plan in that
If
sentence.
you want to say that they stay under 35, you can do that.
Already said.
Why don't we say the maximum height of the dwelling shall not exceed 27 feet as represented by the applicant?
That's what it should say.
Okay, that's
As
fine.
shown on the plan,
Yeah.
right. That's exactly what it should say.
And they can always come back if they decide they've got a different house
Yeah.
style and
Yeah.
it's going to be taller, they can come back and say, this is what we'd like to do, so, okay.
All set with that one? Who held that one? You? We're good?
Yeah, we're all good.
Okay, 18, G18, the dwelling shall include an entry and a first-floor bathroom with a minimum 32-inch doorway width to provide visitable access. All three-bedroom homes include a first-floor bedroom. The dwellings will range from approximately 972 square feet to 1,568 square feet. G19, to the extent permitted by law, preference for the sale of 70% of the units shall be given to home buyers that are Falmouth residents, employees of the town, employed within the town, or who have children attending the town's public schools. The applicant shall work with the housing coordinator to communicate with the state and shall provide the lottery information for the units. G20, the affordable year-round, not seasonal, family ownership units of all of which shall be eligible for inclusion in the subsidized housing, the SHI, shall be subject to a regulatory agreement, fair marketing and income guidelines. The unit shall not be rented or subletted, or sublet. Is it subletted?
Sublet.
Sublet. Certification of compliance with the affordable housing regulations shall be submitted after the sale to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Falmouth Housing Coordinator. This certification shall include documentation that each affordable ownership unit is occupied by a qualified owner and as their primary residence. The affordable unit shall remain affordable in perpetuity, with a use restriction recorded at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds, with a copy going to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Housing Coordinator, and shall survive sale, foreclosure, or bankruptcy. Any resale of an affordable unit shall be properly managed by an affordable housing specialist and report in advance to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the town's housing coordinator, and shall include the fact that any future owner is subject to all terms and conditions listed herein and as provided in homeowner documents. G21, the applicant is a nonprofit organization and shall comply with all applicable EOHL requirements. The applicant shall submit to EOHL and the Select Board a project cost compilation following the issuance of the last certification of occupancy. I was going to say COA. G22, the definitive subdivision plan shall be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. After recording, the plan shall be provided to the assessor for a new parcel identification. Following the new parcel assignments, addresses shall be assigned by the town engineer. Applicants may inquire about draft addresses. This shall precede the application for a building permit. This procedure shall precede the application for a building permit. G23, there shall be no further division or subdivision of the premises or the creation of any additional housing units or expansion of structures without further approval of the Zoning Board of Appeals in the form of an amendment to this decision. G24, any proposed permanent development sign beyond a street sign shall be submitted to the Zoning Board of Appeals for approval prior to installation. G25, the applicant shall comply with any requirements of the Conservation Commission or the Board of Health. G26, Lot 23, the 136,884 square foot parcel surrounding the housing lots on the premises is proposed to remain unimproved to provide buffer for two abutters. This lot shall be designated as a not a buildable lot and shall remain unimproved in perpetuity.
Hold on this.
Yeah, go for it.
I'd like to make sure, this is vague about it shall remain unimproved. It has to say something about what's going to eventually happen is people start to put their boats back there, their work trailers back there. This buffer is put there to protect the folks behind them. So it has to say something about it shall remain unimproved, without any encroachments, and remain in a natural vegetated state.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good verbiage. Encroachments is great to put that in. Good. Did you get that, Noreen?
Yeah.
That was good.
That's good.
Yeah. Everybody good on that?
Yeah, because it's
All right, G27, the homeowner, we don't need to vote on it, really, it was just a quick added. G27, the homeowners association document shall include the responsibility for common areas and to include the private road, open space, including the shared septic system, site pole lights, and stormwater drainage system, all to be maintained in good order in perpetuity.
I have an addition.
Yeah.
All right, two thoughts for the board. They've already agreed to it, and you look at the minutes, that all exterior lights will be dark sky friendly down lighting. It's already in the minutes. I asked about it.
Okay.
And this is for the pole lights, or any light outside, but they'll be dark sky friendly versus dark sky compliant. Dark sky compliant is very expensive. So it's in the minutes.
That's good for this section, too, yeah.
Yeah.
You got that, Noreen?
Yep.
I have one more.
Okay.
They've already agreed to this in the March 12th minutes, and that is that they've agreed to assist the town of Falmouth to obtain a Mass Housing Works infrastructure grant or successor grants for the water line extension along Benjamin Nye Lane to Wild Harbor Road for a period of 5, I'm adding the 5 years, for a period of, Mr. Peterson asked for this, for a period of 5 years from the date of this decision. Habitat's efforts to assist Falmouth to obtain the grant shall include contacting the water department at least once per year to offer grant writing assistance during the term of this condition. Work with the water department and all other necessary Falmouth departments, agencies, and boards to assist, guide, and provide whatever information and documentation is required by Falmouth to apply for the Mass Housing Works, I'll hand this out, Mass Housing Works Infrastructure Grant. Reporting in writing to the zoning administrator when Habitat contacted Falmouth and the status of that contact. Falmouth's, and here's the part that you were worried about. We're going to eliminate it. Falmouth's failure to apply for or achieve procurement of the grant shall not negatively affect any other part of the decision and its conditions. So Noreen was concerned that by putting this in, something that they've already agreed to in the March 12th minutes, that it would be difficult and would hurt them. Well,
Okay, but I think one particular problem, well, maybe this, you referred to a 5-year period of time. Habitat can have these dwellings completed and sold and be out of that prior to the 5 years. So what you'd be saying to them is that they're saddled with this requirement to continue to offer the town
What they said they would do.
until
for 5 years?
for a period of, well, they didn't say the 5 years, I had the 5
okay,
years.
all right.
Mr. Peterson asked for it during that hearing. We can certainly,
I would say till they're done, till the last
until
building
the
permit.
last building is
Yeah,
completed.
yeah.
Last occupancy permit.
That's what I would, yeah.
Yeah.
That's more of a,
And that could go on for 6, 7 years.
well, they have their layout in there, it's going to end in 28, so.
Yeah, but they won't do that. Oh, they might do that, they might not do it.
Do you think occupancy permit's okay? The last one?
Last occupancy permit, be fine.
The last one?
That's 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Yeah, I don't have the language in front of me as far as, thank you.
So they've already agreed, just so you know, in the March 12th hearing, Mr. Brody said, "We would agree to a condition that we will take whatever efforts are necessary to obtain a grant for the water line extension." I'm letting him off the hook on that because they're saying they were going to do that. All I'm asking is that they assist the town water department to do it. The town water department has made a statement to Noreen that they don't have the manpower for it. Well, we're going to give them that. if
Yeah, but
wanna-
they have to be able to wash their hands of our water department at some point, too, I think. I think the occupancy permit
I think,
covers
and
it.
I would put that in.
Yeah, I
agree
think
with
that covers it.
I mean, I think
Don't you?
this is pretty broad, in that it also says, guide and provide whatever information and documentation is required by Falmouth to apply for the Mass Housing Works Infrastructure Grant. I mean,
No, that's not, that's way too much for them.
Well, what would you restrict it to?
That's onerous. I think what Habitat said was that they had done some work and that they were willing to share and help the town. But this almost looks like you're expecting
What does his verbiage say again, Tony? Mr. Brody?
It actually would cover everything I'm asking for. It says,
we should use his
we
verbiage.
would agree, well, I started to, we would agree to a condition that we will take whatever efforts are necessary, that's all encompassing, are necessary to obtain a grant for the water line extension.
Well, then,
benefit
they will
from it.
make efforts to help the town.
We already have one condition, one thing that's being postponed. Why don't we just direct the
Add that to the
zoning
list?
administrator to add this it's now G29, as proposed by Mr. Petrucci, to have an end date and specify the amount of work to be done. And then we can vote on it on the 30th.
Why would, just want to ask, why would you put an end date on it when they're going to benefit just like anybody else?
Because they might be moving on to another
they could be
huge
moving on.
project.
Yeah, you can't require that a
Right.
developer wants...
They were being nice.
And here's the other part, is you can't make a requirement on them.
Right.
Other than what you would for any other subdivision.
They're only to their property line.
So,
Well, except that this grant is specific to 40Bs, for affordable housing. So a developer wouldn't be doing this unless they were doing affordable housing.
Okay.
That's what they said. This is for affordable housing.
Yeah, so the grant is for affordable housing, so that is a difference. That's true, too.
So they gotta be.
yeah, it's just, I think some of the wording here just sounds a bit onerous.
Yeah, we can mess with the verbiage. Maybe we can all work on it and come up with something ourselves, or,
She's going to do it.
yeah.
So I'll make the motion that the board vote to approve general conditions G1 through G27, with the exception of amendments to G7, G9, G15, G17, and G23 as agreed upon by the board at the hearing, at this hearing tonight, and with the addition of paragraph G28 proposed by Mr. Petrucci for dark sky lighting, and conditionally approving an addition of paragraph G29 proposed by Mr. Petrucci relative to the grant for the water line.
I just want to correct one thing, dark sky friendly.
Right, so
Dark
it's
sky
not,
friendly,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
It's very specific.
yeah. They're two different animals.
Very much, very much.
Second that.
All those in favor of?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you ready for someone else to read now?
Before we go any further, I just remembered something. I think I remembered something. As far as Mr. Kirk's concerned about the waiver, I'm pretty sure that the engineer told us that they requested that waiver thinking that the property was in some zone when it turned out it actually wasn't, so the waiver wasn't necessary. I think I remember that, but it'll turn up anyway.
Yeah, we'll
But
find-
I'm
we'll
pretty
find
sure
out.
that's what it was.
Or through.
Because I remember speaking with the DPW, and they said that that zone was across the street because they were in the process of trying to put the things together to get the road paved.
Noreen has to figure that out.
Yeah, but I'm sure I remember that Joe Henderson said that it was, he assumed it was in.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Yeah, I think there was a question about
Yeah.
what overlay.
Yeah, the
and
overlay
you'll come-
district or whatever
You'll
what
come
it
to
was.
that in the waiver section.
Yeah, and it didn't.
Okay.
Look it up and get back to us.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about prior to site work. These are conditions designated S1 through and to the end. S1, the applicant has stated that this is a private road. As such, water lines beyond the road shall be the responsibility of the homeowners. Any required utility easements shall be in a form and manner as prescribed by the town. The water main shall be extended from its current location as with an 8-inch DICL Class 52 cement line pipe per the utility standards. Each home shall have its own 1-inch PE water service with a curb stop shut-off valve located outside of the driveway layout. Each water meter shall be installed inside the home and not in a crawl space. The water main installation needs to be inspected by the water department from beginning to end. The developer shall coordinate in a timely manner to allow the water department to fit this project into its schedule. The applicant shall fill out 14 water service applications with the Department of Public Works and provide 4 copies of the site utility plan showing the location of the water main and the water services to each new home. The water main extension fee shall also be required. Plans shall show the location of septic components and water service, including extent of proposed concrete encasements. Plans shall state all, quote, all standards, policies, construction practices, or rules and regulations of the Falmouth Water Department shall be adhered to throughout the duration of the project, end quote. S2, 1 hydrant shall be installed within the development at the northeast corner of the circle, sited approximately between lots 2 and 14, and 1 hydrant shall be installed on Benjamin Nyes Lane, west of the entrance to the development. S3, the applicant shall submit a proposed road name to the zoning administrator to be reviewed and approved, following input from the applicable town departments to confirm no conflicts. The applicant shall not utilize the proposed road name until confirmed in writing. Is it the zoning administrator or the town engineer?
So with the 40B developments, I have wound up making sure that everybody is properly notified. So we have an email chain that goes out to town engineering. Town engineering has already reviewed their request and approved it, but we also have to talk to emergency communications.
Or 911 and all
Fire,
that stuff?
yeah.
All right. So when it says they submit it to you, that's correct?
Yes.
All right.
And then, but then it says to be reviewed and approved by, I guess it doesn't really matter. You're just going to make it happen.
Right, we just want to
They're
make
just gonna make
sure
it
that
happen.
there's no other way within the town that has the same name. Because the town, unfortunately, being a coastal community,
We have
has
4
multiple
sunset
roads with beach in it or something else, and people have had issues with getting their mail, so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
S4.
S4, prior to starting work under the comprehensive permit, the applicant, the general contractor, and any necessary subcontractors shall hold a pre-construction meeting with the building commissioner, representative of the Department of Public Works Engineering Division, the zoning administrator, water superintendent, board of health agent, Falmouth Fire and Rescue Department, Falmouth Police, to review soil erosion and sediment control, inspection requirements and procedures, review of conditions, construction traffic management, general project schedule, building permit submission requirements, work hours, and other pertinent information. S5, the applicant shall meet with the Falmouth Police Department to determine when, if, police details would be required. All police details required by the Falmouth Police Department or per the applicant's own choice shall be paid by the applicant or as determined by the town manager. S6, with disturbances over 1 acre, the applicant is required to obtain an approved stormwater permit with town engineering to demonstrate compliance/meet stormwater regulations prior to applying for the building permit or starting site work. The applicant shall complete the work as approved in the permit. S7, construction shall be in accordance with all requirements of town engineering, including town's 2019 soil erosion and sediment control standard conditions, which document is affixed herein as Appendix A, with the Zoning Board of Appeals as a permit granting authority. All uncontaminated stormwater runoff shall be directed to recharge within the premises. No increase in stormwater runoff from the premises is allowed. Engineering sign-off is required prior to site disturbance and the issuance of any building permit for this project. The applicant shall provide town engineering with a signed illicit discharge statement, proof of coverage under the Environmental Protection, EPA's construction general permit, and a copy of the SWPPP, whatever that stands for.
Stormwater pollution
management
prevention plan.
Inspections referenced in the soil erosion and sediment control standard conditions or others as directed by town engineering shall be performed by the designated inspection engineer. Erosion and sediment control shall be installed, inspected, and maintained in good condition at all times. Failure to maintain adequate erosion and sediment control on-site will be grounds for stopping all construction activity on-site until the issue is addressed. S8. The applicant shall obtain an approved street permit and post any required bond with the engineering division prior to applying for a building permit or starting site work. The application shall complete the work as approved in the permit. The grading for the new roadway shall match the town's cross-section. S9, at the applicant's expense, an inspection engineer will be designated for this project from the firms that have been pre-vetted by the town. The inspectional engineer shall be responsible for the NPDES construction, general permit compliance, and town stormwater regulations, and will perform or oversee inspections, testing, material approval, reports, and other construction-related services required, with reports submitted to the Zoning Board of Appeals and Town Engineering. The applicant shall establish and pre-fund a Section 53G account through the Zoning Board of Appeals for the inspection engineer and shall timely ensure that the account remains funded. The inspection engineer shall be specifically responsible for ensuring adherence to the requirements of the town's soil erosion and sediment control standard conditions. Appendix A. Inspection and approval of the road subgrade, gravel base, binder course, and curbing, and finish course. At no point shall the contractor construct on a road surface that was not inspected and approved by the inspection engineer. Town DPW will oversee right-of-way work only. The inspection engineer may confer with town engineer and be specifically responsible to review the as-built plans for compliance with the approved plans. S10, the applicant shall provide the NHESP approval to the Zoning Board of Appeals prior to commencement of construction. S11, the applicant shall provide to the police, building department, engineering, and Zoning Board of Appeals the name, phone number, and email address of a project contact individual for the duration of the construction process to ensure that any questions or concerns, including those of abutters and residents, are timely managed. S12, the applicant reported that there are specimen mature trees that they intend to protect within the development area. Mature trees, particularly those proximate to lot lines, shall be maintained to the extent possible. Trees straddling the property line shall be assumed to be jointly owned and cannot be damaged or removed without the prior written approval of both parties. The limit of work line shall be installed prior to site disturbance and includes soil and erosion controls as needed to protect the no-disturb area, and may include adjusting the limit of work to protect root systems or specimen trees, to protect root systems of specimen trees to be saved on the premises. S13, the applicant shall confirm the proposed shared mailbox location on the westerly side of the entrance to the development with the United States Postal Service. So that's the end of site, prior to site work.
I'll do some.
I'll do the motion.
Yeah.
I move the approval of conditions relating prior to site work, S1 through S13.
Yeah, we didn't have any? No.
As presented.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Prior to building permit, is that all right if I go?
Go ahead.
B1, the developer shall comply with all water superintendent requirements regarding water lines shown on the site plan. Prior to the issuance of building permits, the applicant shall conduct a hydrant flow test to determine the available flow and pressure to fight a fire and provide the results to the water superintendent and the fire chief. Hydrant flow test was conducted 9/30/25.
So I had that in there, it's a standard condition, and it was pointed out and verified that the hydrogen flow test was already conducted, so the bold is just to confirm that that was done.
So we can just leave it in there, it's fine? Yeah.
So should that be acceptable hydrant flow test was conducted on 9/30/25? Or just that a hydrant flow test was done and we don't know what the results are?
They have provided the results to the water super and the fire department.
So just assume that it's been accepted.
Let's just say that, actually.
It should, he's
Yeah.
right, he is right, it should say that. The water superintendent has approved the hydrant flow test that was conducted 9/30/25.
Right, but I don't have
The actual paperwork?
communication from the water super saying, I saw this and I approve it. So rather than get involved.
Maybe just take it out then.
Well, I think Habitat just wanted to demonstrate that it was already done. So I think by,
Oh, that's their thing?
right, I think by including the fact that the test was done, we're not asking to have it done again. But it's up to the fire department and the water super as to whether they accept what they got and if it's sufficient.
Well, it's an undefined flow test. I don't know if you want to keep it in there or just let the chips fall where they may.
I mean, they have to come back and do it again,
Why?
because it says.
I think the applicant shall conduct a hydrant flow test to determine available flow and pressure to fight fire and provide the results to the water superintendent and the fire chief. If we say that,
Yeah.
and then we say that a hydrant flow test was conducted, I think we have to say, and it was a satisfactory
Yeah.
test.
Otherwise, just take it out.
I think we should just take it out.
Okay.
Take it out?
Yeah,
All right.
because the line above it's, what is it, if they flunk that, then they're, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
All right.
I think we just take it out.
Okay.
Is that all right with you guys?
It's good with me.
Did I finish that rest of that sentence?
did.
Okay, so B2, a certified plot plan shall be prepared for each lot, stamped by a licensed surveyor, shall be provided to engineering, the building commissioner, and the zoning board of appeals for review and approval as part of the application for a building permit. At a minimum, the plan shall show the following: lot dimensions, driveway limits of pavement, building locations, dimensioned building footprints matching the architectural plan dimensions, closest distance to the nearest property line from each building, locations of drainage structures, including limits of infiltration areas, hydrant location, stormwater pipe locations and invert elevations, drainage structure rim and invert elevations, depth, width, and length of stone infiltration beds, including roof infiltration areas, site lighting, and limits of work, which shall be demarcated in the field. This plan shall serve as a base for the as-built for the project upon completion.
So I move the approval of conditions B1 through B2 designated as prior to building permits with the exception of the deletion in paragraph B1.
All those in favor?
Second.
Aye. We have a second. Prior to occupancy, 01, the applicant shall submit a proposed development sign to the zoning board of appeals with specifications prior to the installation to ensure compliance with standard requirements and demonstrate appropriate siting. 02, the applicant shall retain an engineer or surveyor to provide an as-built plan and certification of the road and utilities as described in section 305-42C for review by the engineering division before final approval of the project's construction. 03, the applicant shall install a town-approved street sign, stop sign, and street light for the road. What street light, Noreen? I'm holding.
It's out on.
Okay, so because they are creating a private road,
Yeah.
the intention is that as a car is driving down Benjamin Nye, you don't have to guess in the dark where the road is.
Oh, okay,
right?
so this is at the end.
This is to provide effectively a light at the street sign so that a passing motorist notices, okay, here is the road I'm looking for.
Should we write street light at the entrance
Yes.
instead, maybe? And put it that way? At least
Yeah,
that's...
I mean, obviously, that's where the only place where
Well,
the
it's not
town's going
obvious
to
to me.
approve that it be located because it's for the purpose of illuminating the entrance.
I think we should put the word entrance in there.
A street light means that one of the street lights on top of a telephone pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to, are they going to add a pole?
They may have to.
I would write street light for the entrance of the road.
Yeah, because you just talked about lighting up the sign, so they can do just up lighting. I mean, they could, otherwise it's getting really expensive.
No, this is a street light.
Oh, it's a real street light?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I still word, I think
Why
the
it
word
says
entrance
town
has to be.
approved.
Street light
Because this
at
way it
entrance.
can go anywhere, you know?
That's,
Street light?
Yeah, for the entrance of the road. That's what I would put.
Like a regular streetlight.
Like the kind you used to plink out when you were a kid.
What?
4, so everybody has that, right? Right?
Yes.
Sorry. 4, the applicant shall properly post addresses as assigned by engineering in compliance with Section 99-1, affixing of legible numbers required prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. 05, the final lottery agent, lottery plan, and marketing plan shall be submitted to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Housing Coordinator prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. 06, landscaping shall be installed per plan submitted to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Any materials substantially diseased or dead shall be removed and replaced with similar-sized plants within a year of the final certification of occupancy. Habitat will be providing a 1-year warranty on plantings. 07, the final certification of occupancy shall not be issued until all required site work, including landscaping, drainage, and other improvements and installation of monuments are completed. The developer may request that the ZBA consider a bond for the value of incomplete work to ensure that the work is completed in accordance with the plans.
Apologies, can I interrupt you just for a sec on 06? There was a request which apparently didn't wind up in here.
From Habitat?
Right, what they were saying is that they requested that the wording for replacement of plantings that were diseased or dead were based on plants that they install. So in other words, not everything and anything on the entire lot, but that if...
For newly installed, you could
Yes.
put that word in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so any,
newly planted, newly
Yeah.
installed, whatever. That sounds good to everybody?
Yes.
That way they won't have to replace the chestnut tree,
I want those chestnut trees, though.
which is a
Those were awesome.
loser.
Those were wonderful. All right, am I on 08, right?
Yep.
Oh,
No,
wait.
7.
Oh, 7. 07, the final, no, I did that one, didn't I?
No, we just talked
The
about.
final certification of occupancy shall not be issued until all required site work, including landscaping, drainage, or other improvements, and installation of monuments are completed. The developer may request, I did this, that the ZBA consider a bond for the value of incomplete work to ensure that the work is completed in accordance with the plans. 08, any damage to Benjamin Nye Lane during the construction process shall be repaired to town standards at the expense of the applicant. 09, prior to the issuance of any certification of occupancy, the applicant shall enter into monitoring agreement to be reviewed by town council. All costs associated with the monitoring shall be borne by the applicant until the sale of the last affordable unit and thereafter by the sellers of the affordable units. A copy of all financial information by the monitoring agent shall be provided to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Housing Coordinator after the initial round of sales. 010, all dwellings shall have the same general exterior appearance and construction quality and be in conformance with the approved plans. The dwelling shall be solar and EV ready. Is that all right, Tony?
Yes.
Seems good.
It is.
011, a certified as-built plan shall be provided to the ZBA and engineering for review for conformance to the approved plans prior to the certification of occupancy. The plan shall be an overlay on the plan described in condition number B2. Any deviations from the approved plan shall be clearly shown in red line over the base plan and shall be faded back for clarity. The as-built shall be certified by both a licensed surveyor and a registered engineer. That work was performed in conformance with the approved plans and all permits. The building commissioner shall review and approve this plan and confirm that this plan includes the required information and certifications. No certificate of occupancy shall be issued until the as-built plan is approved. 12, dark sky friendly. Lighting shall be provided at dwelling doorways and pole lighting as designated on the plan. Spotlights are prohibited, and this shall be included in the homeowner docs.
HOA.
Homeowner documents, the HOA. Anybody else on lighting?
What documents are we putting in there? HOA?
Homeowner
HOA document.
HOA documents, yeah. 013, the applicant is required to provide, 1, a regulatory agreement and declaration of restricted covenants for ownership project. 2, an affordable housing deed rider specifying that the affordable unit shall remain affordable in perpetuity. And 3, a declaration of trust for the homeowners association, if applicable. These collective documents shall be provided to the Zoning Board of Appeals for review by Town Council prior to the issuance of any occupancy permit, and subsequently recorded at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. A recorded copy shall be filed with the Zoning Board of Appeals and the town's housing coordinator. The applicant, as a nonprofit corporation, is limited in its profits under MGL Chapter 40B, and any excess profit shall be paid by the applicant and distributed as required by the subsidizing agency and in accordance with the applicable law, regulations, and guidelines. So what did we change in those?
0362. I move that the board vote to approve prior to occupancy conditions with amendments to paragraphs 01 through 013, with the amendments to paragraphs 03, 06, and 012 as agreed by this board at this hearing.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Want me to do the waivers, or you?
No, I'm on a roll. Waivers, W1. Any waiver not specifically granted herein is denied. The proposal does not comply with certain provisions of the Falmouth zoning bylaw and subdivision regulation provisions. As provided for in Mass General Laws, Chapter 40B, the applicant has requested the following waivers for these provisions for which it does not comply. Waiver 2, or W2, the waiver from Section 247.75, including minimum lot size, minimum lot width at the narrowest point, minimum lot width, and minimum street frontage in the Water Resource Protection District. Parentheses, the premises is cited in the single residence B zoning district and not in a water resource protection. Waiver not needed.
There you go.
Just leave it like that?
That's what he was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Well, so they would want a waiver from the single residence B requirements and not water resource. So what we could do is just correct it to say, I mean, you can either say you're not giving them the waiver for water resource because it's not needed, or you could just say you're giving them the waiver related to the single residence B zoning district.
Or both.
Yeah,
We should probably just specify both,
yeah.
no?
Yeah.
Yeah, just word it like in
Yeah,
different...
so we'll just say
yeah.
the waiver is
Yeah.
not needed for the water resource and only
Yes.
Yeah.
applies to the single residence.
Yep. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
All right, W3, the waiver from Section 240.93, Affordable Housing Development, seeking approval from the ZBA under Mass General Law 40B in lieu of special permit from the Planning Board. W2.5, the waiver from Section 247.2, Coastal Pond Overlay District.
Is this something, now this is something they added after the closing?
So what they remarked was that this was an omission in the waiver list.
But they did this after the closing?
They saw the draft, and they remarked on it being missed from the draft. So what I can do is go back and check and make sure that this waiver was requested.
Okay, so that'll be number 3 on our homework page.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Everybody's got that one, right? W4, the waiver from Section 240.11 2B1, the requirement for minimum lot dimensions, including area, width, street frontage requirements for all lots, noting that lots 1 and 14 will comply with the minimum street frontage requirements. That's okay. W5, the waiver from Section 240.11 2B2, the requirement for minimum lot dimensions, lot width to not be less than 50 feet. W6, the waiver from Section 240.11 3A1, maximum lot coverage, no waiver requested. Let's find out maximum lot coverage, no areas. Do we have to have that in there?
I don't know, they had asked for the waiver, so I just put it in there.
Just leave it like that then?
Yeah.
Okay.
But waivers have to be requested.
She said they did request it.
They-
Oh, they did request.
They
Yeah.
did request it.
But just specifically, no waiver requested.
Oh, well, I should say no waiver required.
Oh, yeah.
Required.
There you go.
There you go, okay.
Okay, good. That's a good pickup. W7, the waiver from Section 240.11.4A1, the requirement for street setbacks requirements to allow dwellings to be as close as 10 feet from the new road. W8, the waiver from Section 240.14.2 to allow a temporary construction sign. W9, the waiver from Section 240.14.3B. Reference should be Section 240.14.3D5. Landscape plan required. Waive the requirement for a tree to be planted no greater than 30 feet apart and of a trunk caliper of at least 3 inches. Trees with a trunk caliper of 2 inches or 2.5 inches would be planted no more than 60 feet apart and on the side of the street where the homes are. Is that them?
Yes, so what they're saying is that they're not looking to comply with the planning board requirements.
The big ones.
But what they're telling you is what they plan to do.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I trust them as far as trees go. Everybody's okay with that one? W10, the waiver from Chapter 305-5, 6, and 11, the approval of definitive plan by planning board. Waive the provision of these sections which describe the submission and approval process for a definitive subdivision layout with the planning board. For Chapter 40B filings, the zoning board of appeals sits in place of all of the town boards and commissions. W10.5, waive the provision of Section 305.14 environmental impact statement, which describes the submission of an environmental and economic impact statement. The project is proposing a nitrous advanced wastewater treatment system.
Was this requested after the closing?
So this, again, was a comment on the draft. So I can look this up and verify
This kind of
as
goes with
well.
the other one that we're already working on. Yeah. So that's part of the homework, number 1, I think. W11, the waiver from Chapter 305-24, waive the requirements of this section related to the minimum centerline radius. The proposed project includes minimum radii of 60 feet. Waive the requirements of this section related to the length of dead-end streets. The proposed project includes a road approximately 1,057 feet long. W11-5, W13 305-24B3, vertical curb minimum length. Waive the requirement of this section to the minimum 300 feet distance between center lines of adjacent streets. The proposed project entrance drive has a centerline distance to Cameron Road of 200 feet.
It's the same situation. I don't see it in the waivers requested in the booklet, but maybe they were asked during the hearing.
I will look it up. I know that we did discuss that at a hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember talking about
Where
it
they
too.
said
It makes sense that they would ask for it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
remember discussing it, absolutely.
right, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, on W12, the waiver from Chapter 305-30 and 37. Due to the density of the development in a low-traffic area and the lack of a connective sidewalk on Benjamin Nye Lane, sidewalks are not proposed as a part of this development. In parentheses, consider requirement for a sidewalk or pedestrian path to run from Lot 1 along the westerly side of the roadway to the intersection of Benjamin Nye Lane for a length of approximately 130 feet. This sidewalk will include the mail kiosk area and provide for pedestrian safety, particularly from vehicles entering the new road / development from Benjamin Nye Lane.
But we're not voting that. 'cause
All right,
it's-
so that language in parentheses is mine.
Yeah.
Habitat has proposed no sidewalk. I had originally proposed a sidewalk along one side of the development. They countered that they still wanted no sidewalk. My concern is where you have the intersection, particularly with Benjamin Nye. If you have somebody walking in to the development and there's no sidewalk and you have cars coming and going, where's that pedestrian supposed to go? So I minimally wanted you to consider the possibility that there would be some type of either sidewalk or pedestrian path from Benjamin Nye to preferably the first developed lot, so that people have a safe place to be.
To get off the street.
But they just,
Yeah. I mean,
but
you know,
they just
there-
came off a more dangerous street that has no sidewalk.
That's, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have concerns about kids
Safety.
coming and going
I think it's a very good idea.
in the dark.
They push back at it. If you look at the minutes of, I forget which meeting it
They
is.
pushed right back.
They
We
pushed
asked
back.
about it, yeah.
But, I mean, I know this street very well, and I think that is it's an important point to make.
And the fact that she's worded it with a, it can be a path. It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
a
I'm not,
full-blown
looking
granite sidewalk.
They have to put in anything expensive, rather just having someplace safe. Because even if you send your kid up to get the mail, you're expecting them to walk out and get the mail with no sidewalk there.
So you want to go from the entryway to the
first lot.
to the right lot line of Lot 1, something of that nature.
I could go along that, as
Yeah,
long as it's
absolutely.
not like granite and
Why don't
all
we
that.
make that another one of the homework
Yeah.
to waive it except for the first couple hundred, whatever it is.
Yeah, you'll have to have all new verbiage,
Okay, so waive except for,
yeah.
but.
Is everybody okay with sidewalk?
Find that to be what the board would want?
Well, there's a big question you need to ask, and that is, you say sidewalk, are you going to do a crushed stone sidewalk, you're going to do a stone dust sidewalk, you do a concrete sidewalk, a paved sidewalk, they're going to be paving the street, so you got to make it something.
I don't know if you have to specify.
I think you
to
can
them.
just leave it and let them pick
They can even have an
Their own
additional,
route.
an
If they have
additional
ex-
apron on the side of the road.
Let them figure it out.
As Mr. Finner once said, I'm not dying on this hill, so.
No, because that way, if they could order extra tar while they're doing the road, if they want to do it that way, or let them figure it out.
Let them figure that out.
You know what I mean? W13, everyone's all set on that one? On 12, right? The waiver from Chapter 305, 34, and 43, waive the requirements of this section. Due to the layout and density of the project, streetlights are not proposed. In parentheses, require a town-approved streetlight be placed at the intersection with Benjamin Nye Lane to identify the new road and provide illumination at the entrance for pedestrians. Note that the developer has agreed to install pole lights in front of each dwelling, as well as 2 lights proximate to the mail kiosk area to be illuminated from dusk to dawn. Now, we just did the streetlight a minute ago.
We already,
It's the same thing.
yeah.
Right, so what they're saying is, they're not proposing the typical streetlights, but they're doing those pole lights, but this
This is requiring a streetlight, though, not a pole light.
Right, because I think that's appropriate at Benjamin Nye.
Yeah,
Now, weren't they going to have lighting on a sign up at the end, too, though?
we already did that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but it's low, I think, isn't it?
No. It's
No,
gonna be
no,
a-
no. No, they're going to have a sign
I
that
don't
says,
think
like,
but they, I think, had a temporary sign while they're under
oh, is that what it is?
construction.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if they demonstrated what their final, like, if it was going to be a stone carved or what, but
I thought they talked about something like that,
Well,
but,
if you're putting a street light there, it's gonna be illuminated regardless.
yeah. All right, so that,
I think you've created confusion.
me?
Yeah.
I think you've created confusion.
Me?
No, not you. I think this whole light thing has, prior to this, we said there needs to be a real street light, pole light.
right, that's what I was capturing here.
This is the same one.
All right, so that might be, so the utility company might say, well, we want it over here. I don't know who approves these things.
Town.
Falmouth? So it might be across the street from the entranceway, or it might be at the entranceway. Somebody has to approve that, right? But it's a real street light.
Correct.
Okay. And it's in the public way.
I think that's all right.
Yeah,
I think it's safe.
So the town will have jurisdiction or authority over that single light at the
Location.
entrance.
Yeah.
And then all the interior lights will be Habitat.
Yeah, they show it on both sides of that pull-out and the kiosk, and they show it at each house.
Yep.
And so that is something that's not showing on this plan. Somebody's going to have to approve where it goes, and that's the town.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about it.
So we're going to use the parentheses, right?
No.
Yeah. Oh, because it's already in the other
already in
section,
there.
okay. So we're not
We're
waiving
just,
Right.
we're only talking about the
the waiver
waiver.
from the regular streetlights. Okay.
So I can take out what's in the parens.
Yeah.
The parens was for your consideration.
Right, so don't even have it.
Don't even
So I
have
can
it.
Because we
take
already
that
have it,
out. It's
right.
just, you know, so that you understand what you're waiving or not. And where
Okay.
you've told them elsewhere what you want them to put in.
Okay.
I think that's fine.
Okay, so we're at the end,
Yep.
and I think we ought to just not vote these waivers because we have so many changes.
Right.
And do them on the 30th.
We'll just do them when we
So
get
what we're
everything
doing
back.
is we've taken waiver number 7, which will be changed. We agreed upon the change, and then the following waivers will be researched by the zoning administrator and revised according to evidence produced at the hearing. Waiver 2.5, 10.5, 11.5, and 12.
Yeah. And then W6, the word required, not requested. That was just like a typo thing. I think that's good, right? So then we'll vote
Say
on
that
the
again. You
complete.
said, so W6 is no waiver is required versus requested.
Right,
Requested,
no
right.
waivers.
It's- I said
Yeah.
W7, but I
Right.
think it's W6
Yeah.
what I meant, yeah.
I think that's it, right? So
Yeah.
then we'll do our homework, and we can, it won't take us that long.
Yeah, I think we could just put it on for April
next-
30th.
next week, yeah.
And just, yeah.
Yeah,
And in the meanwhile, I will send the information out to the board to look at, so.
yeah, that'd be good.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
may I make just one more statement on the record?
sure.
Just again on procedure. I think what would be appropriate with respect to 10.5, that the hearing should be reopened. The applicant should submit a formal request for a waiver and come before you with information to substantiate the reason why the waiver should be granted. And we would have an opportunity to present our information as to why the waiver should not be.
Well, that was, that did come up during one of the meetings.
I'm just.
And they said that it was a mistake on their part, that it wasn't in the Water Resource Protection District. And I actually spoke to the DPW about the road, and he was there trying to repave the road, and he told me that that district was across the street.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, you had said earlier that it wasn't brought up,
Mr.
and it
Finner,
was
no, I'm
addressed
saying
in the meeting.
that, I had my say. I appreciate you letting me speak, but I think procedurally, that's what has to happen. There has to be a formal request for a waiver, and then a discussion on the merits of the waiver.
Yeah, I think there's
Thank you.
another option as well, which is that if we research this and we find we don't have the information, then the applicant can come back before the board.
Yeah.
I mean, they can file for a change or whatever else it is and get this corrected. I don't think reopening it is the way to go.
I just want to thank you very much for allowing me.
Thanks. Safe ride home, you got a long way.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, so, motion to continue this to April 30
Yeah.
for final consideration of.
Can I second you?
You have to
Is
make
that
the
legal?
motion. She can't.
Oh, so moved. There you go.
Okay.
And someone needs to second my
Second.
move. Thank
Second.
you.
Whatever.
I didn't think I could second you, Noreen.
Can you?
I'm getting punchy.
And board vote on continue to April 30?
Oh, yes. Our next meeting is April 30th at 6 PM. Mark?
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Okay.
I'll second.
And everybody is unanimous on continuing?
Yes.
Benjamin and I case to the
yes.
30th.
Unanimous.
Unanimous. All those in favor of
Getting out of here?
whatever Mark
Yeah.
said? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good job.